Attention, please be advised. The following episode contains spoilers. Don't say we didn't warn you.
Is it because the other ones didn't have endings and this bitch has 6?
Nerd On.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nerd On, the podcast you didn't need but deserve. And here we are, part three of our Lord of the Rings special. 1 year later.
1 year later.
Return of the podcast.
Return of the podcast.
Before we get into it, I do want to give, or we all want to give, a huge thank you to everybody who has listened to this little podcast of ours over the past 365 days.
It's been
52
awesome.
weeks.
It's been
52 weeks.
Super fun.
It's been
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
for the
12 months.
I've been here for a fraction of that, but it's been good.
Yeah. Also,
It's
if
been a good
you
fraction, though.
Yeah,
are
it's been a
looking at
great
your
fraction.
phone or looking at your computer or whatever, and you're confused why we're talking about Return of the King and you don't remember the other two, it's because we released them all at the same time.
Yep.
Holy shit.
We
So-
got
All
a
of
them.
3-part episode, technically.
Hit previous a couple times and go listen to Fellowship first.
Work
Yeah.
Work your way up here.
Unless you want
and
to
we'll see
do
you back.
backwards, which is also cool.
You can do that too. Yeah.
Doesn't make as much sense, but I'm with it.
Spoilery spoilers.
Pretty well time.
Yeah,
Yes, they're-
spoilers if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go see
We're-
them.
we're
We're
gonna
going to be talking about Return of the King.
Entire
Extended
everything.
editions
Yeah.
by director Peter Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Before we do so, we're going to introduce our hosts. My name is Ali.
I'm Tom.
Corey,
Caitlin.
And I'm Josh.
and I believe Josh has a little bit of business to do before we dive in.
Yes, before we dive in, this episode is brought to you in part by our patrons over at Patreon. Yeah. Thank you, everybody over at Patreon for being a part of this ride.
Literally let us do this week after week, day after day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty dope.
It's
Yeah.
pretty amazing that everyone's love of nerddom is what keeps the nerding along.
Yeah.
And thank you all for also, and a lot of our fans are really awesome, ensuring that we, as a community, everyone involved, keep our doors open to any level of nerd.
Yep.
Seeing
Mhm.
that in our Discord chat
Yeah,
and
I
stuff
was
like
gonna
that's
say
been
that.
really great.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for adopting that policy of ours.
Yeah.
Do we want to do initial reactions first or dive into the brief synopsis? My brief synopsis of a 4.5-hour film.
I
Probably
mean,
initial, I think.
I just want to say that
Yeah.
I like the movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like the movie.
Yeah,
Got that out of the
You
way.
like this movie more
I
than
like
most
the
movies.
movie.
And that's a wrap
I
on
do
Caitlin.
like this. Yeah, that's it. Pretty much.
That's good.
No, I remember seeing this movie in theaters, which is surprising for me since I don't usually remember a lot of my theater experiences. But the battle scenes in this were just another level
Mhm.
because there was, I had seen a lot of movies where there's like, oh, we're fighting and we're yelling at each other. But this was like when Legolas slides down the Oliphant's trunk and is just like
Still
over
only
at
counts as
Gimli.
one.
Yeah, and Gimli's like throwing him shit. It's like, it was just perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Josh.
Doesn't take itself too seriously.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've mentioned off air that one of these, the movie theater, there was no sound for the
And they
first
didn't start it over.
and they didn't start it over.
This
so
was that one.
This is that one.
Buttholes. That's the worst.
But I do remember loving the entire thing. I do remember the end where there's multiple endings, and we'll get into that. But it was like, I remember people getting up. Like, it was like, okay. Oh,
Oh yeah, that happened where I was too.
yeah.
Yeah, because it just kept going. And we're like, oh,
It
Yep.
kept fading to black.
all right.
Yeah. And
Because
face-
it's
Sit back
crossfading
down.
to another scene.
Just wait till you see those credits.
No, I'm saying
Yeah.
it like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
The music's still there.
You should sit through all the credits, right, Corey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone worked really hard to get their names up there.
Yeah. And the credits themselves are like 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, it's a big
They're long.
team.
Yeah. It's a huge team.
Well,
But I loved,
The movie.
but here's the thing. I love the movie, but it's,
yes.
this one I think is actually my favorite. Watching
Ah.
it today, I kind of was like, oh,
Holy
yeah.
balls.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yep. Okay.
It was really good.
Yep.
Prince Ali?
Ali.
For me, yeah. I mean, I saw this several times in theaters. It's my second favorite movie of all time. First being Towers. and watching it today was just full of joy. Like there's so many
I saw some man tears.
amazing.
Oh yeah.
You
Some
did.
man
You actually
tears.
did. You did see some man tears.
I did. I looked back. I was like, shit.
But I can't carry you.
No, he was having a man tear when what's the king of Rohan?
Theoden.
He was doing
His
the ding ding
speech.
ding 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 ding. I was like, damn.
speech gets me
That's
every
a great
time.
speech.
saw him
Also, that was that
glassy-eyed.
actor's idea, by the way.
Well, it was
the high fiving of swords.
it was that like last one where like she cheers with it,
Mm.
and it's like the energy you get there.
I think the only reason I look back is because that's your girl, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, you're looking back. You're like looking at Miranda Otto, and I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah.
We were
But
all
I'm also
like,
crying at Theoden right now, so leave me alone.
we were all shooting jokes while watching it, but every now and again, like you'd look over and someone's like
silent.
really quiet and like staring intently and kind of like not nodding but being in agreement with what's happening, and you're like, I'm not gonna make a joke right now.
or literally me clapping after
Yeah.
lines.
Yes,
I did
or
that a few
snapping.
times.
You snapped a lot.
But this one has a couple of my favorite moments from the series, from the trilogy or whatever. But we'll talk about those soon. But yeah, love them, of course.
We didn't do guess that grump, but
No, that's all right.
for me, I feel like I have to quote Tom Hiddleston with this. You have two lives. The first one's over when you realize you only have one. And it's kind of like with this movie where I'm like, as a child, I'm like, I remember a finger being bitten off, ghosty ghosts, and I am no bro. That's all I know.
That was it.
That's all I remembered. Because I remember telling you guys, like, I don't remember any of these fucking, like, they were all just so mixed
am no
together for me. But watching it again now as an adult, with new eyeballs, smaller ones now, because I'm older Asian man.
Oh my
And-
god.
Post-pubescent.
Yes.
Tom.
Yeah, I think so far to me, like I enjoyed this. There was a lot more for me to enjoy in this one.
Yeah.
Mm.
There was a lot more like this has to happen in order for this character to kind of like get past this like threshold of development, which I
Yeah.
liked.
Mhm.
And so I was like, ooh, they're on this trial, and then this character has to do this to prove themselves to do this. So I'm like, that's cool. But no, I thought it was great. That's all I'm gonna say.
I have the same story about seeing it in theaters. Like, of course, I went with my dad, same kind of thing. But
You had read halfway through this one as well, the same
this
ones?
by this time I had read all of them.
All of them, okay.
But I will talk more about. This was the first extended edition one I saw. This is the
wow.
film that made me find out that there are extended editions because
Got it.
like the internet at the time, 2000, whatever the extended edition came out, wasn't like like it is now,
Yeah.
where like shit's just posted all the time. Like you said, you ran your forum about it, but it wasn't
Mhm.
like I was at the age where I was like, oh, let me check if there are extended. I've never heard of extended editions before.
Yeah.
So I was at my friend Dustin's house, Tasty Money, shout out.
He always
and-
points at me, by the way, in case I forgot, which I never did.
and it was on some sort of on-demand service or something, and he had it on his TV,
Direct
and we were watching it, and I
Saw
was like,
scenes you hadn't seen.
Pay per
I
view.
don't remember this shit.
Yeah.
And I remember because I came in halfway. Him and his brother were already watching it when I got to his house, and the scene with the mouth of Sauron, I was like, "What the fuck is this? This is
Yeah.
amazing!" And he was like, "Yeah, these are the extended editions." And I was like, I'm sorry, what?
There's
They get
more?
longer?
Yeah, and so that was like, it blew my mind that they were like, they filmed some of the scenes for the extended editions after they had already been at the Oscars and swept. They were
Yeah.
still filming.
Oh,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were still
What?
filming pickup shots and stuff like that for the extended editions.
oh my god.
And Peter Jackson was like, "This is fucking crazy. We've already won 11 Oscars for this film,
Yeah.
and yet here we are."
We can do whatever
Still
we want.
But yeah, this was like this was my gateway to now what I consider the Lord of the Rings. I don't even consider the theatrical ones. To me, are like, oh, those are cute.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Those are
I
great.
do want to do a quick talk about all the quote unquote endings. I had no problem with it, so we'll talk about that
Oh
later,
yeah,
but
I
I'm
have a
just like,
whole
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it
thing
either.
about that.
no. And
Yeah,
so,
I'll make jokes like easily, but I have no problem.
But yeah, so this was my first entry to that, and I am eternally grateful for it. We can still do guess that grump
okay.
with the little info we've gotten
Mhm.
now.
Who's gonna be the girl?
It's gonna be Corey, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's not.
I'm going to guess Ollie. That's just my one guess.
Okay.
I feel like this is just like a throwaway. Like it's like, oh, for the sake of guess that grump, I'm gonna say Tom
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
because
gonna-
I don't
Well,
really.
to be honest,
honestly, like
I mean,
I quote unquote for the last two, I have been the grump.
you have.
But then also I know not to pick Caitlin because she'll pick a 5 no matter what. But then also I know Two Towers
You
is
say
his
that.
favorite.
Yet I haven't picked a 5 every time.
For all the movies?
Okay, well, you may be right
You picked
about
5 for the
that.
last 2 movies. I'm just going by science.
What about
Right,
me, Tom?
right.
You picked 5 for the last 2 movies too, so I'm
I
like,
just
I know I
wanted
can
to
just
hear
pick
someone say
these
it.
2.
Yeah, it's true.
All right, I'll pick
you like
Tom as
that
well.
validation, you know?
So I'm just using
That's Ali,
observational
Tom.
science.
Tom. It's Tom.
Okay.
It's
Tom,
gonna be
Ollie?
Tom.
I'm gonna go Corey.
Really? No, that's
Ah.
not real.
That's not a real guess.
That's not a real guess.
All right.
Ollie's just doing it to spice things
And
up.
then Josh,
Yeah.
you picking me?
Really?
So
I'm picking you, but I mean, here's the thing. The reason why we're doing these movies is
We're
for the
s-
past year,
Yeah.
we have been like, oh, we'll do Lord of the Rings. Like we've thrown out little like things of people gushing about, oh, that's like in the Lord of the Rings.
Okay,
or,
I'm
this is blah, blah, blah.
I'm
So-
gonna have to do a clapback at you real quick and be like, I was the one person that wasn't all like, let's do Lord of the Rings. I'm like, it's gonna happen.
no, but that's
I get
what
it.
I'm saying is it's like picking your favorite movie and going, okay, rate that, but it's my favorite movie. So
yeah,
it's, gonna be
it's not a
5.
typical like we're gonna go see this movie in the theater and rate
Yeah.
them.
Well, it's not my favorite movie. That's why
That's
we
fine.
still do it. And
Right.
So like,
that's
it's,
why we're picking you.
exactly.
But it's, I guess it's like a guess that grump just relative within the 3 movies.
yeah,
guess.
I mean
Yeah.
that's technically
Really what it
it's
is.
amongst us anyways.
Yeah.
Amongst.
A monk.
Amongst the y'all.
brief synopsis.
Brief
Here we
synopsis.
go.
Synopsis.
Take us on a journey, Corey.
So again, apologies. I'm going to skip a lot of shit because it's the longest of all the movies.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, we're going in.
I'm just going to try to hit as much as I can in the shortest amount of time.
Summarize
Yeah.
that 5 hours.
So movie opens. Gollum is talking to himself in the fucking water, and it has a dope shot where Gollum's basically saying like, "Yeah, we're gonna kill them," and he drops this rock in, and then Frodo appears where the ripple. Sam appears where the ripple was, and is like, "I heard you." And then Frodo's like, "Who do I pick, my best friend or Gollum?" And that's kind of their thread for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Which has always struck me as weird, but like I get it. He's playing him. He's like, "Oh, I totally get your burden. I totally get it." He's like, "You do get it," and Sam is like, not totally getting it, but supporting him anyways, which P.S. good friends do. So then it cuts to Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, and they find Merry and Pippin. And they are like, "Hey, we worked with the Ents, and now this is our place, and they're gonna own it from now on. Let's go talk to Saruman." And Saruman's all like mocking them from atop this tower he's locked himself in, even though he's lost, which is smug as shit. And then Gandalf's like, "Nobody kill him. We need him to tell us where everything is." And then Saruman's like, "Yeah, I'll fucking tell you where y'all are gonna die." And then Grima's like, "You just hit me in the face. What the fuck?" So Wormtongue stabs him, and then Legolas shoots Wormtongue, and it's a mess. Everything gets fucked up. They're like, "Okay, well, we wanted them alive. Now both of them are dead. Great." Saruman falls some epic ass fall,
Impaled.
gets impaled to the point where everyone in the room while we were watching went, "Oh," because he hits hard. Show me the body. Show me the
There it
body.
is.
That's the rule.
And then he drops one of the seeing orbs from the first film.
His magic 8 ball.
And Mary's like, "Ooh, shiny," because he has ADD. I'm 100% sure of it.
Yeah.
Sorry, yes. He picks it up, and then Gandalf's like, "Pip, give me that shit. I don't like you that much, but I do love you, but I don't like you." So he takes it, and Pip's like, "Dang, Dad took the toy away." And then we cut back to Frodo, Sam, and Gollum, and now they're at Minas Morgul, which is the
Cosmic bowling of.
cosmic bowling at Minas
Tirith.
Tirith. It's actually the sister city of Minas Tirith, which is a
Oh,
fun
that
fact.
makes sense.
And they're like, "Oh shit, we got to go up these crazy ass. Why are there steps there? Why are there so many steps
That's
there?"
a great
somebody went-
question.
Sure.
Yeah,
the boss secretly
so they're
wants
like,
them to
"Oh,
win."
let's climb, I guess." And all the while, Gollum's still playing fucking Frodo like a G. They have this moment where Sam's like, "I swear to God, if you fucking touch him, I swear to God, I'll kill you." And Frodo's like, "Sam, what was that?" He's like, "Oh, nothing. We were just talking about it, exchanging recipes and stuff." So then, cut to a conversation with Gandalf, Aragorn, and Theoden, and he's like, "Hey, we have to go help Gondor, y'all. You know what I mean?" And Theoden's like, "Why the fuck should we help Gondor?"
He's
And
being petty.
it pisses
Super
me off
petty.
every time because I'm like, right now, this is where you want to pull that shit now, right in the middle of the war. Like we're so goddamn close. But anyway, Gandalf takes Pip because Pip grabbed the Seeing Stone in the previous scene, and now Sauron thinks he has the ring, and so they're using that to their advantage. They go to Gondor to warn some badass dude. I'm shaking my head no. by the
Oh,
way.
okay. I
You
was
guys-
going to say,
named Denethor, and he is
Badass
the
in the bad way.
father of Boromir and Faramir, and he is the steward of Gondor. So when they get there, Gandalf's like, "Look, Pip, don't mention Boromir, don't mention the ring, don't fucking
Don't
talk.
mention Aragorn.
You fool of a
Do
toad.
not speak.
And they
please.
walk in and they're like, hey, we need you to get ready for defenses. And he's like, yo, what's this? And he's holding the horn of Boromir. And Gandalf's like, oh, fuck. He saw it. And Pip's like, I got this. I know you said not to talk, Gandalf, but watch me handle it. I pledge my life to you. That was a bad move. Super bad move. You can
Yeah,
see Gandalf
Denethor-
get pissed about it. And he's
Yeah.
like, all right, your first assignment as steward is to like get ready for battle, essentially. And so then you get to them and he's like, I'm not really going to fight. And he's like, I don't know. You pledged your life, you fucking idiot. But now, there's no time for us to go anywhere else. So we just have to hope that Rohan gets here in time. So cut to Rohan is on their way, quote unquote. But Aragorn's like, there's no way they're going to make it in time. I'm going to go inside my tent. Oh shit, it's Elrond. He has the sword of my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather Isildur. It has been reforged.
I think you're missing it. Great.
Oh, sorry.
Probably.
Great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great
There we go.
grandfather Isildur. They reforged his badass sword, and he's like, there is one army that could probably help you get there in time. And Aragorn's like, the fucking crazy dead army? I'll check it out. So
That was a
Aragorn's like,
perfect. Yeah.
Aragorn's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
all right, Legolas and Gimli, peace. I got to go do this on my own. And Gimli and Legolas are like, yeah, fucking right. We're coming with you. So they do. And they get to the dead gate, right? And it has that saying that Tom liked very much where it was, yeah, you said it like twice, right?
I don't even remember what I said.
Mine.
A mine. No.
Kidding.
But it's, that was built by those who are dead. The dead keep it that way. The way it's shut. They go inside. Gimli has a funny moment where he's like, the fucking elf goes in. And I went, anyway. So they go in, they essentially confront them, and they're like, we want you to fight for us. And they're like, we're not going to listen to you. And then he blocks it with the blade. And he's like, I thought that blade was destroyed. And he has that badass line, it has been remade. And then they're like, I'm not going to tell you if we're going to help or not. And then they basically like avalanche the place, which is, I always thought was
It's
weird.
a stampede.
And then
With
they
the
get
skulls.
they get outside, and then they're like, you made it out. Congratulations. We're going to help you. They have that great scene with the ship where Gimli bumps Legolas's bow and
kills
kills
Peter
the guy.
Jackson.
Cut to oh, I burped in the middle of it. That's great.
Nice.
So slow me down. We have Frodo, Sam, and Gollum, and he frames Sam that he ate all the lambus bread.
Crumbs on his jacket.
And they have a fight, and it's one of the most heartbreaking moments in the movie for me
Mhm.
because good guy Sam, who's done nothing but stick by Frodo, even though Frodo's been a total dick to him for like 80% of this journey, gets kicked out of the group. He's
Told to
like,
go home.
you're out. It's me and Gollum. We're best friends now. I trust him more than you. And I'm like, damn, bro, that's cold.
That's how you
So
play me.
then Sam kind of is leaving and he's like, whatever. And he finds all the lambus bread and he's like, shit, it's my responsibility now. Essentially, Gollum leads Frodo into Shelob's lair, which, fun fact I learned today, Peter Jackson is arachnophobic and designed the spider after every spider that's ever terrified him. All the things that make him scared of spiders are put into that.
Spider-Man.
So
Which
just
is like-
spiders.
Facing his fear. So Frodo gets basically stabbed in the gut with venom. And Sam kills Shelob in a really badass, heroic way. Comes back
Yeah.
and finds Sting and the light. But then he thinks Frodo's dead. And he's like, shit, I'm going to go hide because there's orcs coming. And they're like, he ain't dead. He likes them fresh. And he's like, oh, Sam, you fool. And then the army is marching on Gondor. Shit's going down.
We missed
Hardcore.
Oh, Faramir?
Osgiliath. but
Yeah, my bad.
yeah.
I'm trying to balance like
No,
four different
thanks.
storylines. So Denethor, this really asshole guy who's the steward of Gondor, loves Boromir, his firstborn son. And then you got his other son, Faramir from Two Towers. It's his son as well, who he for some reason hates, even though he's everything that Denethor thought Boromir was, even though
Mhm.
he was kind of jaded and not a perfect person,
Mhm.
but redeemed himself in the end. Faramir passes the test that Boromir couldn't pass with the ring.
He gives
And
it
yet-
back.
He still isn't
Good
liked by his father. So he sends him to Osgiliath to like defend, and he's like, well, I'm gonna die out there. And he was like, great, whatever, fine. And then has that powerful line of, you wish my place was switched with Boromir, don't you? And he says, yes, I wish that. And he's
Mhm.
like, all right, well, if I return, I hope you think better of me.
like,
And
what
then
a
he
great
gets
line.
the last line in when he
Depends
goes,
how you return.
depends on your the
Manner in
purpose
which
of your
you
return.
return.
Yeah. You're like, damn. So he goes and he gets almost killed. He gets shot with a black arrow, Nazgul arrow,
Mhm.
which is kind of the same of what Frodo got stabbed with in the Weathertop in the first film, a Morgul blade. And he comes back and it seems like he's dead. and the king loses his goddamn mind. No matter how many times people are like, yo, he's alive, right? He's like, yeah, I know he's dead. It sucks. It's terrible. So
But you know that I just said the word live, right? He's alive.
Yeah. He goes to light him on fire, and Pippin and Gandalf show up and are like, bro, he's alive. Pull him off the fire. And then he sees it in his last moment that Faramir's alive, and then he burns up and has one of the most epic deaths in the entire movie.
Oh,
He
yeah.
runs off the edge of Minas Tirith. So Gondor's being attacked, and it sucks. The Witch King is there. They're fighting out in the fields. All the while, what you don't know is that, or what you do know, but no one else does, is that Èowyn and Merry are on the battlefield as well in full armor, even though both of them were told, by the way, you can't come to battle. She defeats the Witch King in a great moment where he's like, come at me, bro. And she says,
I am no bro.
There it is. Stabs him in the face, even though now she's got like 2 broken arms, right?
Yeah.
T-Rex in it.
It's awful. And then Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli show up with the army of the dead and just start overrunning shit and turning the
that
tide of
other
the battle.
army with the big
Oliphants.
Oliphants are there.
Oliphants.
Yeah.
They showed up kind of just before Aragorn showed up because
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was like, oh shit.
Yep, some shit's gonna go down. So they basically win that battle. Aragorn in Minas Tirith starts healing people, which in the books talks about a prophecy that's fulfilled, that when the king returns, there's something about healing the city and healing the injured and stuff like that, which is what he does. So he doesn't know it, but he's fulfilling a prophecy to become king again. And then everyone regroups. Theoden has died, which is sad, but now Èowyn is in charge of Rohan.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's dope as shit. Frodo wakes up, captured by the orcs. The ring is gone. The orcs and the Uruk-hai start fighting on their own over the mithril shirt that he had. And then Sam froze up. Sam shows up and is like, I have the ring. And he's like, give it to me. And there's a great little moment of like, he's seeing what the ring's doing to him, but he's also feeling that like, I can sense this power. Like, how have you been doing this for so long? And he's like, you're my friend, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. It's a big burden, but let's do this shit. So in costumes, they basically slip by the guards and make their way up the mountain. I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you. That moment happens.
So sweet.
Frodo starts making it up the mountain. They get into Mount Doom. And they have that whole, it's like a reverse of the whole Isildur Elrond moment where he's like, throw it in the fire. And he's
Also,
like, no, it's mine.
up until that point, they finish the battle.
They win.
They
go to the doors.
win.
Oh, yeah.
When they go to the Black Gates.
And they decide that they're going to go to Mordor to distract, keep the
Sauron.
eye on them,
Yeah.
bring the fight to them. You have the Mouth of Sauron scene, which is dope as shit. Aragorn's
Which is
like, I
only in the
refuse to
extended.
believe it.
Only
Yeah,
an
right.
extended. Yep.
I refuse to believe it because he's like comes out with the
mithril
mithril
shirt.
and is like, I was supposed to show this to you, ha 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 ha. And he gets his head cut off, as he should, because he's a total dick.
Yep.
The armies come,
Agreed.
the Nazgul come, they're putting on some badass fight. Aragorn is basically like trapped under the foot
He's
of an
about
ogre.
to, yeah.
And then
Squish.
Frodo has that moment where he's like, it's mine. And he puts it on. And suddenly everyone on the battlefield is like, oh shit, we gotta go. The eye turns right to the doorway. Gollum shows up like a piece of shit and bites the finger off of Frodo. And then they fight and he gets pushed in. They both fall over the edge and we see Gollum falling. And he falls in and he has the ring up and it just sits on top of some
Terminator.
Yeah, some Terminator moment. It sits right on top of some lava that's kind of cooled off a little bit, right?
Yeah.
It's floating there.
Well,
Sam runs to
rock
the edge,
whatever.
and there's Frodo. Give me your hand. He gives him the gross hand, and it slips.
The
'cause
bloody
there's so
one.
much
The
all
gross
blood.
hand.
hand.
Yeah.
Strong
And
hand.
it finally the ring sinks in and starts to dissolve. The tower the eye catches on even more fire. And Sam is able to pull Frodo up. And everyone starts to cheer, right? The ground breaks out from under the orcs.
It looks like
Everything
the tower
starts
farted
falling
and everything
apart.
just fell apart.
And they're
Yeah.
cheering for Frodo. You did it. And then the mountain explodes. And they go, oh, fuck. Because they think that everyone has just died in there. But
Yeah.
they don't know. They'd sneaked out. They had snuck out.
Sneaked
isn't
out.
a word.
Sneak
Sneaked
out is
out.
fine.
And they
Sneaked
have
right
this
out.
beautiful moment. And it's kind of to me, I thought it was a happy moment when I first watched it, but it's a sad moment because they both talk about the Shire, but they talk about it differently. Frodo talks about it as a past, right? He talks about, I remember this, I remember that, blah, blah, blah. And Sam speaks of the future, right? Who
would
we should
marry this
marry
girl.
that. Yeah, right? So it's it's this kind of moment where you're seeing these two people who've been on the same journey, but how did they deal with it? How did this journey affect
How
them?
did it change them?
So the Eagles come and pick him up. That's ending number 1. Then Frodo wakes up in bed. Holy shit, Gandalf's alive, which is always weird to me that I always forget Frodo's thought he's dead since the first film.
Yeah.
But he's been doing lots of shit. He's back. He's been running the show. And then, everyone's there. Merry, Pippin, Gimli, Aragorn.
How are we
alive?
Everyone's really happy. And then Sam comes in, and Sam and Frodo have this moment that I'll talk about later on when we get to the ending. And then, cut to back to the Shire. Ending number... No, sorry. It's the king, right?
Yeah,
the crowning.
king.
That's ending number 3.
Crowning is a different thing.
You bow to no man, right? Èowyn is... Or Arwen
Wow.
is
Arwen,
presented...
not Herwin.
Is
Arwen.
presented, hey, she's here. She's not sick. She's doing fine. Please marry my daughter. They do. You bow to no one. Everyone bows down to the hobbits. Merry and Pippin are excited. Frodo and Sam are conflicted. Then ending number 4, they go to the Shire, and Sam's like, you know what? I'm going to talk to Rosie. They get married. Everyone's really happy. That's not the end. We have ending number 5.
Yep, it's
I
with the
think
ship.
they
That
go
sounds about
to the ships, the Greyhaven. Bilbo's there. I want to hold my ring one last time, even though he doesn't remember where they're going. He still remembers the ring, and he's like, "Oh, I lost it." And he's like, "Oh, that's a pity." They get there. He's like, "I think I'm ready for one more adventure," and he gets on the boat. And then Gandalf's like, "Hey, I'm gonna miss you all. It's been real. I gotta go now. I'm Gandalf the White. I'm not as fun. I don't like weed."
Well, he's got like virgin lungs. He
He's
can't smoke
baller,
it.
yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
god.
I don't
Can't
know.
handle it. Can't
Yeah.
hang.
Which is that little detail. I love that. And then he's like, "All right, Frodo, it's time to go." And all the other hobbits are like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 what?" And Frodo's like, "Sorry, man. Here's a book, some pages there for you. I love you. I'm gonna kiss you on the forehead and hug everyone else." It's a real, Tin Man, Lion, Scarecrow thing where I'll miss you most of all. And everyone's like, "Wow, cool.
Thanks.
We've all been here too." So then he gets on the boat and he's finally like, "Okay," and they sail off. That's ending number 5. And then ending number 6, we see Sam at home with his actual daughter, Sean Astin's daughter. He's got a family. He's ready to kind of like, all right, I'm gonna settle down now. This is where I want to be. This is what I fought for.
He can't be he
Right.
can't be dual live.
Right. So he's kind of like leaving all of that behind and being like, that was part of me, which is kind of a play on how the war affected people. Anyway, I think that's the quickest summary I could do, the best of my abilities.
16 minutes?
Yeah.
Almost exactly.
Sorry.
Well done.
hey.
That's
It's a lot of jumping around.
I really wish
But-
you could have done it faster, but
I know, me too.
Yeah, Corey. Geez.
I think that's how long the last one was
Thanks,
too. I was
Peter
like,
Jackson.
that's my quick 16-minute summary of 4.5 hours.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But yeah, there you go. I'm
Some-
sorry I jumped around a whole lot, but
it jumped around a whole lot
Go watch
Yeah.
the movie.
Some quick
and then you'll
info
know.
as well, as Corey mentioned, 11 Academy Award winning films, which
tied
is
with Ben-Hur and Titanic.
Titanic as the most amount of Academy Award winning films, including Best Picture,
Not just
Still-
11, but every category it was
nominated for.
nominated for.
I can't believe that they were still filming after they won
Yeah,
all of that stuff.
Same director, Peter Jackson, came out exactly like a year after.
filmed back to back.
So, and 1.12 billion.
Oh my
Yeah.
You
god.
could shoot somebody by
Oh, what was the
billion,
number? They
motherfucker.
made
I think it was
a
1,500.
1,500% profit on
Oh
this
my
film.
god.
They were the ones who were like, we started at first Marvel.
Yeah,
too.
that's fair.
Yeah.
That's
so I
fair.
mean, like,
So franchises can be lucrative.
yes.
Got it.
Franchises that are not based in like drama, that are like fantastic and all that stuff, and
Yeah.
you insert the drama in there. So, yeah, I remember specifically watching that Academy Awards, like oh,
I remember
shit.
that
Like,
night too.
Damn, like, and that became, I think, in the mind where I'm like, oh, they're gonna sweep,
Yeah.
and then every single year, like, oh,
Kept
what movie's
happening.
gonna sweep, and it's like it's gonna be.
To be fair, they didn't. Did they win anything prior to that for the
They
other
won.
two movies?
They
Oh
won a
yeah, they
couple
won. They
for
won
other
a
ones.
couple for the other ones, but this one swept.
Yeah.
This
So
one was
this
like,
is-
don't even try to compete.
Yeah.
It's
And like
their year.
I get it because I've always referred to these as I think they are the closest I've ever seen to perfect films
Yeah.
as far as like together. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
They're playoff right after each other.
Yeah.
It's not like, we talked about the old Star Wars trilogy, and between Empire Strikes Back and Last Jedi, who fucking knows how much time went by?
Yeah, it's not even explained.
Like, when you-
suddenly he's a Jedi master and you're
when
like, oh,
when Faramir talks about the Hobbits, he's like, oh yeah, 2 days ago. It's like,
Yeah.
fucking 2 days ago? This
Yep.
shit's like taking a week long.
Well, the nice thing about it, and you
yeah,
really,
how long did they say it was? Like 3 months or something like that?
It was 13
The
months.
end game happens.
13 months, that's
Yeah.
right.
End game happens in like a month
I
or
was
something.
thinking at the end he says it was like almost 4 years to the day since Weathertop.
Oh yeah,
His
he
thing
says
still
4
hurts.
years when they're back in the Shire.
Yeah.
But then
like
like,
right
13
after when
months.
he gets picked up, he's
Yeah.
like,
but when they talk to
13
Faramir, he
months.
says like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Not but 2 days ago. I was like,
Yeah, I mean
damn.
the films, to their credit, it feels like one long movie.
Mhm.
You know, and you can really
If
see it
if
that
you
way.
have, which I have, and I'd recommend everyone do this once in your life. If you've marathon them all back to back, it does feel just
Yeah.
like a one cohesive.
Which
movie.
I would say for better or for worse, because if it's for worse, then you're like me, who's like, what happened in which movie? Because like
Yeah.
I remember the ghost and I remember the thing, and
Yeah.
it's like,
Oh my
when did
God.
that happen
Fun
in that
fact,
one or in that one?
all together, the 3 films run exactly 12 hours and 1 minute
Oh my God.
to the minute.
Wow.
Just-
does that
that was
include
fun.
the credits,
Yeah,
or
so
you
homework.
just when it
That's
goes to
that's
black,
including
you
the
go to the
credits,
next one?
because the runtime includes credits.
Mhm.
Wow.
Okay.
You think they kept
Doesn't
that?
include the time it takes to switch the discs out, though.
Oh,
Fun fact.
That's why you need the 3 DVD player.
Yeah, right. The one that switches it automatically.
Or when you go get your coffee or
Yeah.
food,
Or
or
you just
snacks.
set up 6 Blu-rays
Yeah,
and
yeah,
keep
yeah.
switching
There you
the
go.
input.
There you go.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my God. Here we go. We found a
Yes.
way.
There it is.
You heard it here first, folks. How to watch the Blu-ray edition of
Hi,
the
Walmart. I'd like to
Edition.
return these 5 Blu-ray players.
I mean, I'm being an asshole. You just need 2, and then you
Yeah.
switch the other disc out. While
Oh, that's
I did the hard route.
That's true.
Hard mode
Wow.
activated.
All right.
All right, where are we? Favorite parts?
Favorite parts.
Oh man, I just
Um,
spoke for 16 minutes. So,
I'll,
anyone else?
Caitlin should start first.
Do we
a
want
little
to
bit.
do like comparison to the book at all?
Did you? I mean, it's
Well,
with the extended
the
editions,
format
it's-
really
Yeah,
of the book, because it's been a while since I've read them, like years, like probably half my life since I've read them.
same.
But I remember them being like the Frodo and Sam stuff being like the first half of the book or the second half of the book, and like the war stuff being its own half. Is that correct? Am I wrong?
don't recall off the top of my
Okay.
head. I've seen these films so many times in comparison to what
I think
I've
they were
read,
separate,
It's probably tainting my memory.
And then adapting the screenplay, he interweaved the story so they are chronological or
and
whatever.
a
it's
little
also-
more pacing wise.
But also
Yeah.
it creates more narrative flow.
Yeah.
Because like 2 things are happening at the same time, and then one is very
It works better for
contingent on
film.
the other.
Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, there's some liberties taken, just like with anything else. But
Mhm.
it's a movie format.
I mean,
It's not like a broken record, but it's just like it's
yeah.
Peter Jackson's run of Lord of the Rings for Harry the
Yeah.
King.
to his credit, I would say like again, there's so much from here that I'm like, God, everyone just took from this movie.
Yeah.
Like the ending of this scene or this whole movie is pretty much how Matrix. What's the last one?
Revolution.
Revolution. It was like this is pretty much how they plan their movie out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was like 2 things are happening very similar times. Like on scale wise, it's very small with the hobbits, and then on the war side, it's like the end of the fucking world. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is okay. I see that.
But
Okay.
like the thing I like about that is the juxtaposition, right? So
No,
you
it's
have
great.
like
Mhm.
war that's going on, but the stakes are just lives.
Yeah.
Whereas the small
just lives.
scale, right? But like in comparison to the small scale hobbits doing their thing, the fate of the entire world.
It's like all they have to do is deliver a ring and throw it in the fire, and then in the Matrix, like all he has to do is like appeal to this greater mind thingy. But it's like so it's like something where it's 1-man job or a 2-man job or person job
Yeah.
versus like thousands of
Right, right, right,
lives.
right.
You literally see what the stakes are at bay. And then I mean like all the fight sequences are like Game of Thrones just took like oh that works really well. 'Cause I'm telling you like Battle of the Bastards, I'm like okay that's how that looks like. And
Yeah.
then so I'm like this one. Like instead of horses clashing into each other, it's like horses just ran through orcs.
Oh, that part.
Well, I
Oh,
have a
so
question.
good.
Yeah.
I guess we can talk a little bit. I have
Yeah.
a question.
Mhm.
So at this point, no more Uruk-hai are being made
Not being made.
no.
because
No.
Isengard
They were Isengards.
Yeah.
Isengard's
was
down.
making it. Isengard was the factory making the
Uruk-hai.
Uruk-hai.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so because all of a sudden where he said this is the age of the orcs, I'm like, but where are the Uruk-hai? And then you see
Yeah.
every once in a while there's an Uruk-hai here and there, but they're just as dumb as an orc.
Hmm.
So I was like, so no more Uruk-hai. So
Yeah.
now they just to me, I thought they lost. That was their true downfall. They lost their like beefy like.
Well,
Yeah.
they were getting like hit on all sides
Mhm.
just on how things progressed in
Yeah.
the story. Just like the Ents fucking shit up and Frodo and Sam, how they slip through everything and all the battles that are happening here and there. Like it's all those little pieces that kind of like poked in all
it was
the right
small
places.
victories here and there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I was like, okay, cool. So I mean, like, it kind of like for me, like I was thinking it kind of like tactician-y. I was like, oh, that
believe
destroyed their entire like.
I mean,
base.
I would love someone to fact check this, but I believe, if I remember correctly, that Sauron can make he started him,
Mhm.
and at least in the book lore. In the movie, I think it's all just Isengard. but Sauron made his own Uruk-hai first in Mordor, and Saruman decided to be able to make his own as well in Isengard to kind of double the efforts.
Yeah,
so I
'cause
believe they
you know
can
what?
still
Yeah.
be made in Mordor. and
Yeah,
that's why
I
there's
think
so
the
many of them.
distinction, even in the movie, they made a distinction a couple of times of the white hand.
Yeah.
So like
White
if,
hand
if
of
they had the
Saruman.
white hand on their
They're
helmet,
Saruman's.
they were
Right.
Saruman. Yeah.
Also, second question: Witch King, did he just not want to get super powerful until now?
What do you mean?
Because like he was like, he is the leader of Sauron's army, and then he got this helmet thing. I'm like, but why didn't he have the helmet thing in the first one?
Oh, it's just not. It's not a battle.
It wasn't like war battle.
Oh,
It was
because
So
like,
that was
why
his
didn't
war gear.
why
'Cause it was
didn't
like-
Aragorn have armor on in Weathertop?
because he didn't want to be a fucking blah blah blah. He didn't want to be a king, but it's like he like, and so to me
Well,
it
no,
felt like
they weren't going into battle.
Yeah.
They were like,
It's
well,
like
now it's time for war.
looking.
Now
Yeah.
it's war time.
Yeah, now
so
it's
that's why he
wartime.
became.
Well, also, yeah, you're probably thinking of Weathertop, right? Because
Yeah.
they were like, yeah, the Witch King was on Weathertop.
he's the one
he
that
wasn't.
stabbed Frodo. Blah, blah.
Yeah, and he wasn't really concerned about like going super overkill
Wasn't,
mode
like,
then.
Ham.
he
Because-
didn't know Aragorn was there.
He didn't know. Well, even when he saw him and they like fled Weathertop, they were like, I stabbed Frodo. He's gonna be a wraith in like 5 minutes anyway.
Yeah.
So he didn't need to go ham because he was like, I got the shit. It's fine. And because
He didn't
they
know
like,
had Elvish medicine. On
yeah,
the way.
they didn't know that Elvish medicine was on the way. They didn't know they were gonna be on an Elvish horse. They didn't know they were gonna get swept away by
So
the
a
river.
lot of this is like kind of like they just underestimated the,
Yeah.
Yep.
the
Correct. Well, I mean, that's-
uniting of the kingdoms.
Well, that and it's also just kind of like the story of hobbits. Like people underestimate them all the time,
Yep.
and that's why Gandalf loves them so much. Is because no matter how much you learn about hobbits, they always surprise you.
I have a question because you mentioned this in your synopsis, and it's something that I've missed, I guess.
Yeah.
Or I've misinterpreted. You had mentioned that Aragorn heals the city.
Oh.
And my interpretation of that scene is he was healing Èowyn because she was hurt, and I just saw him like rubbing on her. Like,
Yes, in the movie, yeah, correct. But in the book,
in the books.
he does a
Okay,
lot
so that's
more.
not something hinted at in the movie that we
Right.
would pick up and go, oh, okay, he's healing the city.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
He helps a lot more wounded.
Oh, okay. Got it.
But in the movie, who do you care about?
Èowyn.
I do also have a question.
Yeah.
So did they recently like awaken the Nazgul?
No.
That's why we didn't
the
see them in
Nazgul
the
have
Fellowship
been-
at all.
They've always
Huh?
been
We saw them in the
around. You do
Fellowship.
see them in the Fellowship quite a bit.
When?
Weathertop, they're on the black horses. They chase them. Get
The
off
Black
the road.
Riders.
No, I'm sorry, the dragon thing.
Oh. No,
they just
Oh,
weren't using
those are
them.
just like
They
new
didn't
horses.
need them
Okay.
until the
Is
horses
it like
were
did
gone.
they not unlock that mount yet?
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, but why didn't I not?
It's a
see-
raid mount.
Okay, I was like, but why
It's a
did they
raid
not?
mount.
I think-
attack with them.
Honestly, I think it was just like they were chasing
It's a boss drop.
4 people, like 2 hobbits and a horse and a 1 ranger guy.
It was probably
foot.
easier
So
to
they were
not
like-
be seen
Yeah.
and sneak up on them. But
We'll
now
go
that
through
it's a
cities
battle,
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because like
You don't use a sledgehammer to put up a picture frame.
again, like tactician mind, right? Like you're
Fair.
sending the Witch King and all the other people like to scout and look for this ring.
Right.
It's an assassin job.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
then like later on, once they're getting ready for war, it's like now you could raise cities. You don't have
Yes.
to infiltrate cities anymore. But I was just like, did they
Well,
have these all at the bay and were
Yeah,
ready
I
to
was-
pop off?
Because I was
Yeah.
gonna say we saw Nazgul when they were like Gollum, Sam, and Frodo were.
I didn't mean the I meant
crossing
the
the-
dragon thing.
No, that's why I'm sorry. The dragon thing, right? Is
Yeah,
it called the
yeah.
Nazgul?
Or no,
No.
The Nazgul are the cloaked people.
the Black Riders.
Okay.
Those
and
are
then
the
what's the
Nazgul.
dragon
What's
thing?
the dragon thing
I
called?
don't remember
I
what
don't
that
know
thing's
if
Dragon
called.
or
Nazgul.
Olari.
Olari.
Yeah.
So the dragon thing, we saw one of those when Sam, Frodo,
Dragon
and
thing.
Gollum were crossing that path of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
dead,
yeah.
and they were hiding in a
Marshlands, I think.
bush.
I think the
So-
marshlands were the first
Yeah.
The first time that we
time
saw
we
them.
saw it.
Got
Yeah.
it.
And it's
We're
big,
at flyovers.
I honestly think it's because like before they're being more sneaky about it.
Mhm.
Now they're in enemy territory or right on the doorstep of the
Well, they're
enemy
also
territory.
hiding from it. That was the whole point. of them
And
getting
they
out of
want
the-
to
yeah.
right, and they don't have like any inkling of where they are. So
Yeah.
I think they're just trying to cover more ground with flight.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
I'm just wondering like where were all like the Nazgul and the dragon thingies during the fight for Battle of Helm Deep?
They
well,
probably
where-
weren't
probably
worried
didn't
about
need
Waiting
it.
for Frodo.
They're probably
Yeah.
looking for Frodo, yeah,
Yeah.
Well, also-
also,
because that's their number one like prime objective.
They also like were technically quote unquote winning at Helm's Deep,
yeah.
Mhm.
and they were
had-
like, we don't need that.
Yes.
And
Well, they had-
didn't
Well, they were like
expect-
Saruman's got it.
Yeah,
They didn't
had-
expect Rohan and
That was Saruman's deal.
Okay, so
Gandalf.
technically you think of it like these are different fronts.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
armies like this.
Yeah.
It was Isengard versus Rohan. Like basically. That's
And
what
then the Sauron will go against Gondor.
they were going for Gondor.
Got it.
Because
Which
as
is
I
what you saw.
remember, Saruman
You
was
saw the
also
Nazgul at
using the Seeing
Osgiliath.
Stone to tell Sauron, I got Helm's Deep on lock. Like, don't worry.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. That's why there was Nazgul at Osgiliath.
Well, also, what's kind of where's that place that you said it was the Cosmic Bowling?
Minas Morgul.
Morgul.
When they had that scene, like I feel like a whole bunch of Nazgul came out when they were like the army was jumping out.
That was their home
Like,
base.
they were
That's
just like,
Mordor's army. That's
Yeah.
yeah,
and
it
that's
was just
their
like
home base. That's
Yeah.
like the Witch King's.
And that's
lair.
I was gonna say the Witch King, like he was then like starting to like mobilize. But
Mhm.
also question:
Mhm.
Are the goblins in terms of like the Uruk-hai like higher in rank because they can create them? But
Tech-
then the Uruk-hai are stronger. But then like
Are you
they're
talking about orcs versus Uruk-hai?
orcs. Yeah, sorry.
It's kind of like an equal battlefield thing. I mean, the Uruk-hai are
Yeah.
much bigger
It's
and
just a
stronger.
different-
They were
crew.
made to be better than orcs.
Yeah.
They're
But the
So-
orcs, and they hate each other. So the orcs weren't ready to give up like rank or whatever to these guys because I believe, I mean, it's like a power play thing.
Mhm.
That's why they fight all the fucking
Got
time.
it.
And then goblins, technically in the books, there's no difference between goblin and orc,
Mhm.
but in the movie they made it.
I
a
think
little different.
that they just made that one guy that killed Boromir.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was just like,
Lurtz.
yeah, Lurtz. He was just like Captain Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was
So-
captain of his own platoon.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
sent like, yeah, exactly.
But then you see that like orc outside of Mordor who's kind of in charge of everything.
Well,
Right.
because like I remember the maggoty bread and blah blah blah,
Yeah.
and I'm like, the orcs and Uruk-hai are working each other, and the orcs are the one building the Uruk-hai, but it's like, but what do they play in terms of like chain of command?
Yeah.
'Cause
Well,
it's like
Uruk-hai are also like elf mixed with orc, isn't it?
We talked about it in one of the episodes. I don't remember off the top of my head right now. I'm blanking.
but they're they're
Something
half
like that,
orc and
yeah.
half
It's
something
half
else.
orc, half like
Pretty sure it was elf. They tortured elves until they were perfected or something
Got
like
it.
that.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, I think that's close to it.
yeah, somewhere along those lines.
half orc, half goblin.
Oh,
And the goblins are like I
Just
feel like
kidding.
they're underground. That's the only difference between.
Oh no,
orc and-
sorry. Uruk-hai are.
using the power of the internet.
But I think it was
Figure it out,
mostly
there you
like that brigade that went out to get Merry and Pippin.
Mhm.
Like that was the same group
Mhm.
that had attacked Boromir.
Yeah, that's Lurt's group.
Yeah.
And then
So
someone
he
else
was just-
died. He just someone else rose up.
Right. So it was mainly like him sending like an elite task force.
Which is actually really cool in Shadow of Mordor, the boss mechanic.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Where
yeah.
you kill one, and if you don't like destroy his entire
The
army, someone
chieftains
else just
Mhm.
replaces him.
takes
You're
up
like,
the
God damn
space."
it!
and if you don't kill him, he just gets stronger.
He comes back
He
for
knows
you
how
as
you
a
fight.
vengeance. It's like,
Oh.
God, why?
That game is great.
But yeah, that's
To sum it up, Uruk-hai
How it
are
works.
essentially just larger orc,
mhm.
and they call them. And again, someone fact checking on this, but I believe the Uruk-hai call themselves that, and the orcs to distinguish themselves from like slaves,
Mm.
quote unquote. Like
Mhm.
the orcs are technically
We're warrior based.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You guys are a servant.
But they're
You guys are
both
workers, yeah.
they're technically both orcs.
Same.
Got it.
It's like a class system thing.
but Moria
Weird.
has mostly orcs.
Got it.
So
Yeah, because
Mine.
I noticed in this movie, it seemed like it was mainly orcs.
mainly, yeah.
This movie, yeah.
Yeah.
Age of the Orcs. That's
Yeah.
what. That's the one thing I took away. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
all right,
You didn't
sorry.
see very many.
I don't even know if I saw Uruk-hai in the battlefield.
I don't think so
I
either.
think it was just inside
that
like,
one
at
spot
that tower,
where
yeah.
they're fighting each other.
Yeah.
that watchtower, or whatever it was.
So favorite
Favorite part.
parts.
Right.
yes,
Joshy Josh.
Oh, me.
There's just so much cool stuff.
I know.
All right, let me look at my notes because there were so many things. I have to pick a favorite one.
We could all just like
We
ping
could just
around.
list them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like again, Legolas
gonna have
sliding down the
several.
Oliphant trunk. The counting the orcs killed is still a favorite of mine. That it
Mhm.
Yeah.
came from the
Still only counts as one.
yeah. I do really love the talking to the ghosts
Oh man.
in the
Yeah.
mountain. That is just like it's so epic. And I think the skulls like coming out of the side and breaking it down, I'm pretty sure that was, and this is totally me just taking a stab at guessing what this was, but it's the I don't know his name, but the ghost king dude being like, okay, we're
King
gonna
of the
do
Undead
that.
is basically how he's called.
King of the Undead. That was me. I'm seeing it as he's releasing like all the spirits to go out and have nothing
Got
to
it.
come back to.
Got it.
Cause like,
He's opening the tombs.
yeah, he's opening the tombs to let all the spirits out to be like, okay, we're gonna go follow
You can
this
let
guy
them
now.
leave first.
Huh?
No.
Said he couldn't let them leave first.
Hey,
or
I
even just
mean-
be like, "Hey, you got 5 minutes."
If he dies, then oath fulfilled? ?
No, no oath fulfilled.
I think to that
Well-
point, there are parts of this where
because he has to
you,
say
Oh.
you fulfilled your oath.
but
He has
there's parts throughout the whole trilogy where like it's very like this is very much Peter Jackson's
Yeah.
like language and style, and like
Uh-huh.
he does morbid really well and scary pretty well too.
Horror director, as I
Um,
learned from Tom.
and it kind of like even like King Kong that he did afterwards, like when they drop into that pit of like bugs and stuff,
Oh,
like that's Peter Jackson through and through. So I think that really adds like a dimension to it where it's like, wow, he handled those ghosts really well.
So
Yeah.
well.
Oh, the look of those, the design is beautiful.
Mhm.
Phasing from normal face to skelly face.
Yeah.
When the swords meet, I was just like, oh,
So
And
good.
when they snapping away, it was
Yeah.
really beautiful as well.
And when they hit the battlefield, I mean, it's so funny because those orcs are like,
army.
yeah,
This one.
and they're just like slow motion going towards them. And one of
Running
my
on
favorite,
the water.
yeah. One of my favorite aspects of this movie is I feel like there were so many oh shit moments.
Oh,
You mean
all the
You
faces?
mean us oh shit or them
Just
oh shit?
like
Both.
watching characters,
Both.
like there were
Yeah,
times
characters.
where even Gandalf was like, oh shit, and Theoden like on the battlefield was like, those are really big elephants.
It's like really that's
And,
coming
like,
right for me.
That's happening.
Just for me.
There were so many things that were like characters were in moments where that's big. Ah,
When the
like-
Witch King breaks Gandalf's staff, I
Yeah.
think all of us went, oh shit.
even Gandalf went, oh shit.
Yeah.
He broke it just by powering up his own sword. He didn't even
Yeah.
strike it. He's like,
He
I was
went,
like, oh,
this is
shit.
my power, puts his sword in the air, and there's like, and then
flames.
they do this like, I'm going to call it kind of like a slap drop where it's like all sound is gone and then it's just boom.
yeah.
Mhm.
Like,
Oh,
Got
It's like, a,
couple
it's
of
like a
those.
star
Yeah.
exploding.
When
Yeah.
Minas Murgle turned on
oh,
the sound in that. Oh
yeah.
my god.
oh my God.
With your sound system too. Thank you for providing.
Oh,
that
you're
sound
welcome.
system, by the way.
We could feel the subwoofer in our
Oh, yeah.
cockles.
Yeah.
Like it was,
I'd say one of my favorite moments is the moment that Gandalf knocks out Denethor.
Oh, yeah.
He hits him in the gut and then
Which
over
time?
the head, and he's like, "Prepare for battle!" And you're like, "There
Yeah.
you go."
yeah.
Fuck
Now
yeah.
we're getting things done.
I just badass Gandalf.
At the
moment.
beginning, for some reason, I just love I've always loved the backstory of Gollum, but my favorite moment of that is
The
the
Cain and Abel
reveal
story?
of his eyes.
Oh, when he blinks and they're
Yeah, and then
bigger.
they're Gollum's eyes. It's
Ugh.
A lot of
Face.
that was actually meant to be shown in the first film,
Fellowship?
but
Oh.
didn't make it
Yeah.
at the time.
Mm.
They
I'm
had
kinda
to.
glad it didn't actually.
Oh, yeah,
'cause I
no,
feel
it
like
worked
that
out.
would've-
They had
yeah.
to. They wanted to like get the story going as fast as possible because it's called Fellowship of the Ring, and that was part of the pressure.
Right.
Because you had to get to
Fellowship of the Ring, and then
I
there's
think
Gollum.
I remember. I think if he had to even fight for the prologue to be in
Wow.
Yeah.
there.
And
Yeah.
they had Gandalf
So they
do it
had to-
originally, too.
That's why there's a lot of extended stuff right at the beginning of the movie of Fellowship.
Huh.
Mm.
But yeah, during that whole scene in the mine,
Mine.
when Gandalf's telling him like that's Gollum, da 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 da, like that was supposed to be shown over all of that.
Oh.
But I'm glad it ended up where it did. And
Yeah,
I feel
it
like
was-
it's stronger
which is
where it is.
crazy to me that it was supposed to, or was it the second film?
It was
I don't
really
remember.
great for it
Anyway,
to start there.
For me, I
Yeah.
think a favorite part, I actually really like the part where Sam saves Frodo and then gives him back the ring and they have
Yeah.
that little exchange.
Samwise badass.
Well, I liked
There's
it
a lot of
because
layers to it, like an onion.
You could play both sides. You can play both sides where Frodo has been like getting parcel tongue, worm tongued, like of how like Sam is going to take the ring for himself. And you hear the fucking ring music. You hear like the booming in the background of like the weight of the ring. And it's like Frodo seeing like, oh shit, Gollum is right. It is taking him. But then you can play it the other way where it's like Sam Wise is like, holy shit, this ring is very heavy on the soul. And it's like,
Yeah.
I want to give it. And then like Frodo's like, give me the ring. And it's like, fuck, you're becoming Gollum Smeagol.
Yeah.
So you could play it on both sides where like they both have a reason to kind of be like a little weary of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, this is working
I
out
thought
real
Sean
good.
Astin played that moment wonderfully because he has that thing where he's like looking at Frodo kind of strange, but at the same time he's pulling his hand back and then looking at the ring like.
And you don't know if he's gonna take it.
Well, yeah, because he's not because hobbits are quote unquote more resilient, but I think he feels that pull for a moment because
Mhm.
everyone does who
He does
technically
feel it
like
for a moment.
quote unquote touches
Yeah.
it. For that moment, he's like, I feel it, and then it kind of he looks back at Frodo and is like, oh shit. Like for me, I've always read that as he's looking at what it's doing to Frodo, and at that moment, Frodo's shirt's open, so you see all the scars and the weight, like burning into his neck and stuff like that. So that always played to me. But then there was always this side of Sam being like, "How have you done this for 13 months?"
There's like
even right now,
four
I'm feeling it.
like 4 different realizations that he has in that moment, in that back and forth exchange.
Shout out to Sean Astin.
Shout out to Sean Astin.
And I think a really
Sean
cool
Astin.
thing too is like Sean Astin, throughout the entire thing, he's been saying like, "I'll help you hold the ring," like, and I'll give it back, and I'll give it back. And you have no real reason to be like, "Nah."
It was a
he ain't gonna
suggestion. He was
backstab.
like, it's kind of like one of those innocent, like ignorant suggestions of like, "Hey, let me just carry it for a while. That'll make it easier,
and
right?"
and Frodo's got
Like
nothing.
genuinely trying to help.
Yeah.
And so far, everyone that's wanted the ring has said the same thing.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh shit, my friend's doing it. So there is that kind of like duality of like,
It's kind of like
what's
Boromir.
like
If
what's
you were to
happening?
but lend me the ring.
Yeah, and it's like, oh
Ugh.
shit, is it affecting him? But
Or
it's
that
like,
moment, Boromir actually has it,
yeah.
Yeah.
and Aragorn's like, "Give it to Frodo."
Mhm.
It's like, of course.
So I really like that part. That was, and then I actually really liked how Merry and Pippin were separated,
Mm-hmm.
and then they became stewards of different
Oh.
places.
Yeah.
And I was
That's
like,
so
that's
cute.
cool. They're gonna like
My
develop their
lady.
own ways. Because I think that
Merry
those
and
are really
Èowyn.
cool things when you separate people and then let them develop in different ways and have them come back and see how they grew.
Yeah.
And then as we know, Merry has more
Little
kill
lamb.
count. So
A lot higher.
For me,
So much higher.
one of my favorite moments of the whole series was in this one, and it's when they're fighting the Nazgul are attacking with their dragons on Osgiliath, and they're like, it's done. Faramir's like, let's get out of here. This is not looking so good. And they start riding back, but the Nazgul are still chasing them down.
Oh yeah.
And
left this out
Gandalf
of
comes
my-
out with his horse, and he
Oh,
puts
yeah.
up his staff and does one of those like
What did you say? Activate.
super activate super.
Crack your super.
Hold down X.
Yeah, it's L1
Tickle
and R1.
fingers.
Thank you.
Shines his light.
I hear hammers. Throw it.
Yeah.
So Gandalf shines a light.
Shines that light, and just like that sound cue and the music,
Yeah.
the kid choir or whatever it is, and that starts playing, and then I
The
love
Mormon Tabernacle Choir.
yeah. But then like the camera work of him, like kind of the sort of handheldness of him
Yeah.
kind of riding back, and then kind of like does this
Turning
like
and
swings back,
joining
and you see like back to Minas Tirith, and you're
Mhm.
like, holy shit, like this is
Dope as fuck.
There are a
Really
lot of
epic.
really
The White
great
City.
like
wide,
wide
and
but
expanding
like
shots.
expanding, like when the guy died, when he jumped over
Denethor.
yeah,
Denethor,
and
when-
the camera
and
continues
they
going
stitched
back.
it
and
in.
just over the whole battle, and you're like,
Well, I feel like
good.
it's a really great way to be like, this is a teeny tiny action happening in something that is so
Much
much
bigger,
bigger than
yeah.
the
Mhm.
action that's happening, but it's affecting everything.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
another favorite part is Èowyn slicing that
I am-
dragon's head off.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was the most
Oh,
dopest
Where
thing
she
man.
ever.
dodges it and
Dodges
just like
it.
hacks it
I
off.
was like, God damn! Like her sword's made out of like.
And the reveal of the Witch King right there is like probably
where
one
the
of the
wing
most.
finally goes down and he's
Yeah.
just like standing up and like,
How
Oh.
dare you?
My
no, you
God.
didn't.
that
That-
was my favorite dragon.
that dragon's neck was made out of like butter. And, like her sword was like a hot knife.
They're
I'm like,
scary.
God
They're not
damn.
exactly,
It's-
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, didn't seem to have like
It was
like a tough
snaggly too.
scales
It
or
looked
anything.
like God of War villain, like monster
Yeah.
that you'd fight. But I'm just, she's going blah blah. I was like, whoa, two
The
hits.
Witch
done.
King was like my biggest crush in high school.
So what if the
Even-
Witch
He just
King
got
and a
so much-
Balrog had a baby?
I'm trying to
I
understand
don't
that
know.
a little bit.
Which
Because you
rock?
can't see any real features.
It's great.
Well, his
Except
It's
for
not
his
what they
costume.
look like, it's what's on the inside.
Yeah.
It's what it feels
It's
like,
pure
and it
evil
feels
Josh,
like death.
and I'm in
Yeah.
love with it.
Okay.
Rotting flesh.
Yeah.
But also the helmet looks like Spawn.
One of my
Yeah,
one
it
of
does.
my
Those look
favorite
really good.
moments is a moment between Pip and Gandalf, and it's when they're in the White City and that troll is like banging on the door, and Pippin's like, I guess this is, I can't believe this is where it ends, and Gandalf is like, ends? No. Death is a road we all take, and he describes his idea of like, oh, the white beaches and stuff like that, which is he's describing Greyhaven essentially.
Yeah.
But it makes Pippin comforted in that moment. And I really enjoy that because it's that side of Gandalf that we all love. Like he always has this like sound advice that in troubled moments that don't exactly, I don't know how to phrase this
It's not
exactly.
an easy button.
It's not an easy thing, but he makes something hard seem doable.
Culpable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Culpable.
And I love those kind of moments.
or natural and
Like that,
organic.
my favorite line from the first film, where he's like, all we have to decide is what to do with the time that's given. It's not like oh, that's easy.
Yeah.
It's still like, life and you still have to make decisions. But he's
Yeah.
like, it eases it just a little bit because it kind of just stands
Shows you
you
the
up
bigger
straight and
picture.
it's just like, all right, you got this kind of
Yeah.
thing.
It's real close to a Fast and Furious quote.
But it's not.
I have a couple other favorites.
Yeah, go for it.
One is the one where I actually did tear up a little bit, and that's his
Theoden's
speech, Theoden's speech. But like the cheering, and then like the music kicks in, obviously, and they start
Èowyn
running forward.
cheers.
And Èowyn cheers.
Your
and-
pants got a little tighter.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Your pants became shorts.
Yeah. So that was super epic. And then another one that I really enjoyed, and I was sad. I think it might have only been in the extended editions because I don't remember in theaters, and I remember it being in the trailers and being sad that it wasn't in the movie, and I was confused. But it was huge shout out to Èowyn or Carl Urban,
Okay.
Mhm.
and when he like
Oh.
thinks his sister's dead.
Oh,
And like
yeah.
runs up to her, and he's just like losing it,
Yeah.
and like it was just such a gripping
was like-
like
Kirk. No.
it was.
And
a
what's so funny is
very
in that
gripping
they make it,
performance.
even from a editing standpoint,
Yeah,
they make you think that she is, and then it like kind of fades to black right there.
Yeah.
And then we cut to what I was asking you about, where
Yeah.
Aragorn is coming to check in on her,
Mhm.
and she is still alive. And I'm like, you got me.
Yeah.
I thought she was.
Oh yeah.
One of my favorite moments. I have a couple more, but the sneaking with Gollum. He's like, "Why are you sneaking around?" He's like, "Sneaking."
Yeah. And,
then he
he's like,
goes,
so what were you doing?
Sneaking.
Hobbits.
I have always loved the lighting of the fires.
Mm.
Oh, the beacons.
yeah.
The
Beacons.
beacons, like for some
Oh.
The beacons
reason,
of
So
Gondor.
because you get to
cool.
see the expansion of this world
Mhm.
and like how and
Things used to be.
We only
Yeah.
heard that it was a 3 days ride
yeah,
to
Yeah.
Minas Tirith. We didn't see what it looked like to go
Yeah.
there. And the
the
beacons being
expanse of
lit
it.
lets you know what that looks like.
Yeah.
Of like
Yeah.
how far they really rode.
Mhm.
And I like that moment between Merry and Pip before they take off too. Will I see you again?
Oh,
I don't know. And I was
I
like,
don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
What? But they meant to
Um,
stay together.
they couldn't even hug. Gandalf was like, no, we must whoosh away.
That moment when Aragorn,
Does
Gimli, and does anything.
Anything at
Whenever
all.
he just speaks, whenever his
When he
beard is
breathes.
present, when him, Gimli, and Legolas leave, and everybody's living like losing their kind of their confidence, and Theoden's like, "We will meet them on the no, we're gonna lose, but
we're
we will
gonna
meet them on the
fuck
fields
some
of
shit
battle
up.
otherwise,
An
or
honorable death.
nonetheless." Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, man.
because he
They
saves the
leave because
cat.
They have to.
Because at first he was like kind of like petty as shit,
Yeah.
and then he just becomes this like, yeah, what he said.
Yeah. Essentially. Yeah. He just kind of was like,
He's like, okay, I'm gonna be a king now.
yeah, I guess I should
I
do that. I haven't been a
guess.
king for a little while, so I'm sorry. Apologize.
It's only
for
been like a
that.
decade or something. It's okay, though.
Little
man.
moments that I love is when they're talking about salted pork and Gimli's like, salted pork.
Could you say steak?
Everything in this movie that is food looks amazingly delicious.
Oh,
Yeah.
except
for
when Denethor is
when
eating.
Denethor is eating.
I don't know.
No, that was
cherry
terrible.
tomato is amazing.
that
food
was
looks good.
mint.
His
The
food looks
table looks
terrible.
good.
He looks gross.
He looks gross eating it.
Even the
He's
moment when
awful.
Gollum is biting into the raw fish,
Looks
and
even
like
better than
I don't
that.
count
That
it
looks
as
like
food.
sushi.
That,
Yeah.
yeah, that
Sushi,
looks like sushi
fresh.
by comparison.
I would prefer that.
Sushi.
Little moment when he's like, I forget the exact line Gimli says, but he was like, high risk, small chance of survival. Sounds perfect.
When are we going?
When do we go? When do
As
we get
he's
started?
sitting in Denethor in the steward's chair.
Yeah. He's got his like leg kicked up, smoking a pipe in the
Yeah.
steward's chair. The recently deceased
Yes.
steward's chair.
It's like,
mind you.
it's just a chair.
No
it's
rem-
fine.
This guy's a piece of shit
No
anyway.
recourse. Yeah.
Oh, man. Pippin's song.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh, the fun fact behind that.
Oh, yes.
Gondor's Got
I
Talent?
forget her name, but one of the people in charge of production went out to karaoke with some of the younger folk, and Billy Boyd, shout out to Billy Boyd, happened to get up and sing that night, and she heard his voice, so she pulled a song from the third book that she didn't put in originally. They didn't put in originally, and put it in there because they're like, you have to sing. And Billy Boyd actually came up with the tune for that song.
nice.
And I thought that was really cool. I thought that was a neat little like that just came about because they went to karaoke.
Mhm.
He's Irish, right?
That's his real accent. Yeah, he's.
I was gonna
super
say because
thick.
the Irish folk songs I've always just loved, and you can hear it in kind of like the roll of his notes, and sometimes, and you're like, oh yeah,
it's like Celtic almost.
yeah, exactly, Celtic.
And I love
Celtic?
the Green Dragon song. I sing that
Ah.
all the fucking time.
Oh,
Um,
perhaps this might be like TMI thing, but specifically Pippin's song. Where I had mentioned in another episode that we did for this that Lord of the Rings was like an encapsulation of all of my mental stuff.
Mhm.
And for whatever reason, I latched onto that song so hard. I had a dream about it. And it was such like a vivid and real dream that every day at 9:28 a.m. I had to sing it. In under my breath, in my head. 9:28 a.m.
28.
every day. Because it was probably just like I was like 3 levels of crazy and like
That's probably some kind of
50
coping.
Shades of
school.
Cray.
I was gonna say
50 Shades of
it's like
Cray.
a coping mechanism.
It was a coping
I left
mechanism.
my room and I had to turn the lights on and off 60 times.
I actually had that as well. I
It is.
had a light thing. I had
That's
I
not
had
TMI.
counting
I thought you were
things.
gonna be like, I was so aroused or
I
something.
was
like that.
so
like,
aroused.
"Oh!"
It was if
Tom was about to
the
be like,
My
police
knickers are
I
just
lost
so
my virginity to
creamed.
that
if the
point.
police had caught me, I would be in jail.
I killed 6 men to that
Oh my
song.
God, that's not
TMI, sorry.
I like that Tom is like afraid of me saying this might be TMI.
No, I thought I was actually gonna be like, oh, here it comes.
Oh no
Like, I thought I was gonna
You're
break
gonna
the
be like, I
seal.
lost my virginity during that scene.
That's my number one baby making
No,
music.
it's just something that feels very personal. That is like, I feel weird to share, but also to say that it had such an impact that like for 2 years.
No.
Because
that-
it's not too much for us.
Here's the
No.
thing.
Right,
that's the
right.
The thing. These movies came out 17 years ago and we're
Yeah.
still all obsessed with them. There's
Yeah.
no amount of time that is
Yeah.
going to be like, oh, for 2 years I liked the song. Great. No,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
That is not too much TMI.
No,
I
it's
mean-
too much.
It is JEI.
On a broader note,
Just enough information.
on
We're
a
starting
broader,
that. That's
on
a
a broader
thing.
note, that's
It's a
shout
Tim
out
and Eric
to the arts.
Yeah. Shout out to the arts for like
Like,
saving
we
people.
need it, entertainment,
Literally.
arts. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that also, it kind of, for most of the people in this room, and I would even say for Tom too. Yeah, you were young, but we were all at a time in our lives as teenagers where our brains are kind of formulating.
Right.
And these came out.
I
These
was
came out
12.
while I was in high school. And so it's like you're figuring life out. You're trying to, you're all that kind of stuff. And these things are so impactful that it really does build up they add to your nerddom and they help you with emotional stuff and all sorts of things.
I
And
was
it's
in
like,
8th grade.
that's okay too.
I just realized.
You're welcome too. Tom.
but to the point where I like, there's a quote. Where it's like, you never know what your art will do for someone else.
It's true.
No
These
matter
came out for
what
me
you
when
get
I
from it.
was just right on the cusp of like high school, college.
Yeah.
Is when they were wrapping up. So perfect time for them to come out for me.
Favorite characters?
Well, I was going to say, I'd like to take a moment to talk about the endings.
The endings.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
Do you want to do that with the Gush or do you want to do that here? do it here.
It's up to you. Whatever you think
I
would,
would do it here.
serve it best.
Yeah, let's do it here.
I think
And I
here,
think
since it's a favorite part
more
thing for
convo.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are a lot of people that I have met who are maybe not exactly like Lord of the Rings fans, but have watched the films.
And are curmudgeonly
And they're
about
like,
this.
oh, there's so many endings.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that voice because all levels of nerd are welcome.
No, but I've had people
but
say
yeah.
very mean things about like,
Absolutely.
and that's what I'm.
And
channeling.
there are 6 endings, quote unquote, but there's one ending. There's one fucking ending. Let's be real.
Mhm.
But people see it as 6 endings, right? You could end the
There's
film here. You
6
could end the film there.
scenes.
Yes, you could end the film at these points, but then you would miss out on one of the biggest plot points,
But-
right?
Yeah.
There's story and action, and then there's plot.
Well, seeing it as many times as I have now, and even today, I was paying attention to that because you had mentioned it even before. I remember at the time, and maybe I don't know, maybe they changed it, but I remember at the time, maybe watching it today, I was like, I really don't see 6 endings.
Yeah.
I see just a fade to the next scene.
But I understand how people could see that.
Yeah,
and
no,
like
I
you
get
said,
that.
people have stood up in the theaters, and so here's what I kind of want to get into. The purpose of this is, I would say 90%, or let's say 10% for all the other characters, 90% it's for Frodo.
Mhm.
And here's the reason. So we get to the end of the film. He's made this journey. He almost lost his best friend. Blah blah blah. He
Lost
thought
his finger.
Gandalf's dead. Like all that stuff. He gets to the place, and he has the ring over the lava. And what does he do?
He takes it.
He takes it.
He puts it on
He
his index
doesn't
finger.
have
The will.
the strength or conviction to throw it in because the ring has finally
One.
won. The only reason the ring is destroyed is because he and Gollum fight over it
Accident
and
over it.
accidentally fall in. So that weighs on him.
Yeah.
Like
Like
I
a
didn't
guilt
I
kind of.
didn't do shit.
Yeah.
I was actually I
And
almost
then
ruined everything.
Later on, when everybody's bowing to him.
Hold on.
Oh, okay.
I got a whole fucking thing for this. This is what I've been
Okay.
waiting to
I'm
talk
ready.
Like,
about.
I have
for
been
2
waiting
months.
for a
I'm so
So
year.
excited for it.
Lock and loaded.
the very next thing, they're out on the rock, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, they're talking about the Shire as 2 different things. And he's standing there and he says that finally it's over, but he's not smiling. He's not really relieved because there was no closure,
Mm-hmm.
right? To him, the ring is still weighing on him. It's not gone. He's literally has the scars from it that he carries with him. The Eagles pick him up. They're in the bed. Everyone's happy, la 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 la, whatever. Sam walks in, and Frodo is immediately reminded that he essentially failed his mission, and he kind of stops smiling when he sees Sam. He's like, reality sets in, right? He's just
Yeah.
kind of like, oh, that's
Fuck.
right.
He knows what happened
Yeah.
in that mountain.
That's
baby.
right. I didn't do that one thing. And then, like you said, they're in front of Aragorn. Everyone's bowing to them. Merry and Pippin are smiling. Sam isn't smiling, but I think it's because he's just like humble as shit.
But
Yeah.
what does the shot end on?
Frodo
Shot
not
ends on
smiling,
Frodo.
feeling super uncomfortable because he thinks of himself as a fraud.
And the music is fucking triumphant and
Mhm.
shit. It's such a jarring moment.
Then you have them back at the Shire where you can see that they're all uncomfortable, kind of, until Sam goes, you know what? Fuck waiting around. Life's short. I'm gonna go talk to her.
Life's short, and so am I.
That's they all go get. Then he gets married. Whatever. They get to the he's there writing and his thing still hurts. His
Nazgul.
Wounds from
stab
top.
from the Morgul blade still hurts. He's struggling. They go to the ships to see Bilbo go, and he's decided I'm done as well. And this is kind of the completion of that foreshadowing from being on the side of Mount Doom, where he's talking about the Shire in its past, and he's remembering it from the point of view of who he used to be,
Mm-hmm.
not who he is today. The same way we look back on TV shows and we go, oh, I loved that show. And then sometimes we'll watch it and be like, oh, I don't know how I watched that show. That's kind of what happened to Frodo, essentially. He's like, oh, the Shire. And then he gets to the Shire and he's like, this blows. I'm really unhappy. I'm treated as a hero. I'm a total fraud. So when he finally takes that moment to step on the ship, as soon as his foot hits the ship, he turns around and he smiles for the first time that we see,
Mhm.
which is explained.
And he doesn't
as-
look like he has any weight on it.
No.
Like I was noticing, like he actually looked happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's smiling. Like, everyone was kind
really
of sad,
sincere
but he's
fart.
just kind of finally like,
Yes, Tom.
it no longer has any power over me. The ring is that now I've defeated.
Now
the ring.
I'm done.
Now
for
I've
real.
done it.
Yeah.
And so for me, all of those stops are really important to tell the story of.
Because it's a
of
movement
Frodo.
of his emotional processing.
Yeah,
almost.
and it's like I know that Tolkien wrote this in a time where, it was during World War I, and there's a lot of similarities. And I've always seen Frodo and Sam as an example of someone who suffers from PTSD and someone who doesn't.
Yeah.
And so
Mhm.
Frodo is suffering from PTSD, and him finally seeking help has shown that that's helping him lift that burden off him and finally accept kind of who he is and what he's got to do.
In a very morbid way as well. It's kind of like tough because Frodo doesn't feel like he has anything to live for afterwards.
Yeah. Or I mean, it could also be commentary on like suicide, unfortunately. Like,
I mean,
I'm sure Tolkien lost some friends to that.
depression and everything.
Yeah.
Like that.
So to me, those stops are very important. If you even if you skipped from the last one or the where they're on the side of the mountain getting picked up by the eagles to that, like you lose so much of that weight of seeing him in these settings where he should be joyous and he can't allow himself to, because everything that's happening to him in that time is reminding him of his failure.
Even then, the last ending with Sam,
Yeah.
where Frodo's like, the last few pages are for you, and he says like, you can't have a half life. You must have a full life. You have so much ahead of you.
Yeah.
Now this is your time to let go of what was, and it's like something that I think Frodo couldn't.
Right.
And I think that's what
Yeah.
makes it so powerful is that Frodo. It's funny because before we were just recording, you talked about the funny joke with Louis C.K. about like his daughter learning about the world and everything about it in 7 seconds. I feel like that's what happened to Frodo.
Yeah.
Right at the end, he learned about everything in the moment, right then and there.
Yeah.
And then for 4 years, he tried, like when he's on the cliff, and then Samwise has his hand out. He's like, reach. Like Frodo, in a way, is like reaching for his like hope that there is something to come back.
And he
to.
almost doesn't.
Yeah, and he reaches with like a fucked up hand, which is like kind of like the state of who he is now.
I saw it once the ring was dead. I'm just gonna call it dead.
Burnt.
Burnt. That was the moment. Like once it dissolved, that was the moment when he reached up. And it's kind of like it
was still
no,
pulling
it's
him?
still in him, but it's still like pulling
It was
him.
ball rogging
But
him.
it's gone.
Yeah, but now it's gone, and he was like, okay, there's a little bit of hope,
Mhm.
but like,
And he can remember the Shire, which he couldn't do before.
yeah,
But again, it's that skewed.
Yeah.
What lens are you looking at it through?
yeah.
So anyway, that was my whole thing on those. So if anyone complains about the endings,
And then also, I
use
mean,
that.
it ends
Corey
how it,
says, "Fight me."
it also ends how it begins. It ends in the Shire,
Mhm.
which is
Yep.
nice. It's a bookend. It's
Yeah.
a really good
Ends
and
on
it's
the
like
door.
with
Yeah.
Sam, it's time to enjoy what you fought for.
But you said also before we started recording, Caitlin,
Mhm.
how like Sam ends up joining. He ends up going in the
Far
book,
in the future.
far
Yeah.
in the
which
future.
I would be 100% okay with seeing, like if they just did a fade to white and then all of a sudden like old ass Samwise and then he like goes to
Rowing
Yeah.
out
rowing out and then it's
to
like,
see.
oh shit, he's joining.
For those of you who don't know, well, because it's not in the book, technically in the books, it's all like
Aftermath.
Apprentices.
cataloged shit.
Okay.
But what for those of you who don't know, we're talking about the Grey Havens or Grey Havens, is a place that was made by elves, basically for
Mhm.
elves when they leave Middle Earth, and Frodo, Bilbo, and Gandalf, and eventually Sam are basically given special passes to go. Men can't go like that. It's not a place for anyone besides elves. It's like an afterlife, eternal
I was gonna
veil
say like
kind of
make an
thing.
analogy.
It's like an eternal realm.
It's like a heaven.
Essentially, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
heaven. You're leaving your
That's the outward
life on
part.
Earth into another plane of existence.
So Sam eventually, far in the future, outside of these books, takes
What's
a boat
the
to get
source of
there.
that? Is it something like Tolkien has mentioned, or
It was in his notes and part of the
Silmarillion?
Thank you. Yeah.
Silmarillion,
Oh, that.
Similar-
the Sim Cardillarian.
Yeah.
yeah?
Basically,
That's
in
what
his
it's called?
in
That's it?
kind of like his unfinished work.
Silmarillion.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so that's the endings explained to
Now,
the best of my ability.
And they're great.
favorite characters?
Gandalf.
Gandalf
wow,
the
I'm
White.
so shocked.
Okay.
Aragorn.
Really?
Even though with his little weak
Well,
ass.
I guess in
weak
this
ass lungs?
movie,
Weak ass lungs.
in this movie, you don't really have the option of Gandalf the Grey.
I
So
don't.
Gandalf the White has to be the
Yeah.
pick, right?
Right.
Right.
He's still badass as shit. I mean, when he's defending Pippin, even though Pippin saves his ass at one point, he's just like knocking shit out.
Well, he's so steadfast. The right word?
Steadfast.
Yeah, I mean, he's always just like in the moment. Like when they've got I think we were calling it George, the big wolf fiery thing that they were coming down onto
George.
the.
Oh,
We thought-
George.
George.
No, we're saying Jeff.
Was it Jeff?
Jeff.
But he's just in the moment before shit's about
Ron.
to get real.
For those of you who
He
don't
is
know what I'm
always like, all right, whatever it is.
Well, like in this movie, he's extra badass, right? The
Yeah.
first, the second two towers, he's still cool, but he's just more serious than anything.
Yeah.
In this one, you see him fight a lot more. You see him that moment with
Be a
he
little
doesn't
bit more
take shit
lighthearted.
in this one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like the stakes are
Yeah.
to the point where Gandalf's like, "I'm done talking."
At first, he tries to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
tries to be
talk
the
to Saruman.
influencer. Yeah.
Tries to talk to Saruman and tries to talk to Denethor, and then no one's listening, and time has run out. So he's just like, "No bullshit.
Yeah.
Let's get you."
Balls to the wall.
Denethor is like, "Don't guard anything. Everything's fine." He knocks him out and is like, "I'm taking shit in my own hands."
Prepare for battle. No, he
Prepare
was
for
like,
battle.
he's like, run for your lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Gandalf's
Flee.
like, no.
No,
he's telling
we're
a
not
whole
gonna
city,
do that.
run for your
and then
lives.
he takes upon himself to go save the people fleeing from Osgiliath. Like he's 100% badass in this one.
Gandalf ex Machina.
Gandalf the Grey is fun and sweet and everything like that, but like, and he's still my favorite of the two. But in this film, Gandalf takes it to a whole nother fucking level. Like,
Gandalf
even
is a-
after his staff is broken, he's still at that battle fucking shit up.
Gandalf's the guy you want, side by side in battle. Gandalf
Yeah.
the Grey is the one you want drink side by side at a bar.
Yeah. And I mean, there's another moment between Aragorn and Gandalf where Gandalf's even worried
Trust
for a
your
second,
heart.
and they kind of switch roles.
What does
and
your
I like
heart
that.
say?
Yeah.
He is alive.
Aragorn.
And he has
Aragorn.
that sweet.
Aragorn,
Ian
yeah.
McKellen has that sweet little smile. He's
Yeah.
alive.
But his
Like,
smile has a bit of like
Sadness.
curiousness into it. So he's like, oh, I was
Yeah.
like, that's really cool.
Search your heart.
There's like a glimmer in his eye.
Yeah.
When he's
Anyway,
like,
so Gandalf all day.
Karen,
I heard Josh say Aragorn.
yeah, this one for me,
Ranger Aragorn or King Aragorn?
the thing is about I was thinking about it while we were talking about the movie
He's
and
a
you were
king
giving
in
your
this one.
synopsis. This movie, it is fun if you do get a chance to go and watch the movies back to back to back. because you get to see it in like one after the other. You get to see the paths and the traveling that all the characters have had to do.
The journey.
And the journey. Thank you. I couldn't think of the word. The voyage. But Aragorn for me, I'm a sucker for an anti-hero where he's just like he's gonna do the right thing. He's fighting being a king so much, but it just kind of happens in this. He's just kind of like, all right.
Well,
this is happening.
It's very much he must do this or else the end of the world.
Yeah,
happens.
exactly.
And so it's kind of like, what is it like? Greatness is thrust upon us.
Yeah.
And so like he has nothing but to become a king.
What does the elf king say to him when he gives him the sword? He's
a king of Gondor could do this.
well, no, he tells
You bring hope to
you bring hope to
men.
everyone and take none for yourself or something like that. But
He responds, I left none for myself.
yeah,
I bring hope to the world of men, but I left none for myself.
yeah.
Something
But I don't
like
see that as like a bad thing. Like he's being selfless in that in
Yeah.
that moment. He's taking on the responsibility to do what he needs to do.
Yeah.
Because he's required for this kind of this
Yeah.
battle.
And that sword
No one
really
else
kind
will
of
do it.
helps him.
Yeah.
No one else can do it.
Yeah.
It's like Frodo and the Ring, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta be him.
Caitlin?
Witch King.
Let's-
Yeah.
Yeah, because now you can.
say
Witch King.
This is Witch King, right?
Witch
Is his
King.
name
Witch King.
Witch King?
Witch King. Yeah.
Witch King, probably favorite
The one from the movie.
the one from the movie.
The one
Yeah.
that returned.
I really like the Witch King. I don't really have a clear picture on why. I just think that he's really cool.
That's fine.
That's
Uh,
He is
okay.
really cool.
Well,
That
he speaks.
flail he has
It's
is
true. He
baller.
speaks.
That fucking flail,
Question.
man.
Also, he's like 10
What's
feet
up?
tall.
When he finally gets mobilized and he's on the dragon thing, and then Gollum and Sam and whatever are on the side, is
Frodo.
it him screaming or is it the dragon
It's
screaming
always
that
him.
hurts them?
It's always him.
It's him.
It's
Okay.
him.
The dragon does the like. "Bruh."
Okay.
Yeah,
That's why they always try to
Wait,
like.
how'd they go one more time?
burp.
He's just burping from all
You'll
the
notice
people
they
he's
kind of
eating.
juxtapose those two sounds
Mm-hmm.
a lot. Like the dragon will always like roar after it,
Mm-hmm.
just to kind of I think clarify it maybe for the
Yeah.
audience. I
Yeah.
don't know.
because you can't see their mouths. So.
Right.
But I would definitely say Pippin's up there. Just because,
Pippin.
like, Pippin, he's just a happy-go-lucky dude. And, like, the whole Seeing Stone thing, especially today, that kind of sunk in a little more. If he's just like, I just wanted to look at the cool
Well,
rock.
like the badass thing about it is that Gandalf is like, he may be a fool, but he's an honest fool. He told him nothing, which is huge
Yeah.
because that's not an easy thing to do is to resist the temptations of
Well, yeah, and then,
Sauron.
I mean, the cool thing with the Magic 8 Ball is like it fell in the water.
Magic 8 Ball.
Seeing Stone.
Magic 8 Ball, the same way that the ring fell in the water, and so like they show that parallel of the shot, on, like the same cut on action of like the ball
Yeah.
falling and then the ring falling, and so you see Pippin could fall down.
And he
that same
changed
road.
a lot since
And
the first one to this
Who
one.
Oh,
is
yeah.
who is Pippin paired up with? Mary. So it's like he would probably kill Mary for it, and that was like kind of like a oh shit kind of feeling.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Like it's the same kind of temptation.
He would be
except-
the
Oh.
Smeagol.
yeah.
Shout
Okay.
out to one of my favorite parts too, Gandalf sleeping with his eyes open.
Oh, man.
Do you know
That's
anyone that can actually sleep with their eyes
horrifying.
open?
My sister used to do it when she was
My
young.
senior army instructor sleeps with his eyes open, and it's the scariest thing because he like does that looking out the window.
Oh,
And
wow.
we're just like,
Oh my
Jesus.
God.
Wow.
I was like, guys, we better do our shit right now. Ollie Oxenfree.
I mean it's Èowyn again.
I
Ellen.
knew. We
Yeah,
all
She's
knew.
pretty badass.
We all
in
knew.
this.
Yeah, I really
But
like her
Even more so in this movie.
more so in this one
Yeah.
because you really get a lot more development from her.
Mm-hmm.
To see her like follow Aragorn to the campsite and kind of like at first it's like for him kind of, or she gives him hope or whatever it is. And then like her getting basically rejected by him,
Friend zone.
which is
Moment of silence.
which is heartbreaking. And she does a fantastic performance. Shout out to Miranda Otto.
I cannot give you what you want.
Yeah. But at that point she's like a little taken back and a little like sad about it. But she realizes that she's proving something for herself, and you know she's there to defend her country and her king, and
And then she
Yeah.
has Mary to kind of like
she has
share that
Mary
feeling
to be
with,
like,
too,
no,
because-
you can do this, and she sees herself kind of in him.
War is a province.
And that little moment where they're like riding into battle and she's like, stay with me, I'll protect you. And he like grabs her arm and they're both like, yeah, we're going to do it.
Yeah,
My lady.
Oh,
and
that
her
was so
just
cute.
freaking killing
That
the dragon, and
That was
I am no bro.
Yeah.
I am not wearing hockey pants.
Oh.
That
That was
right.
good.
That felt
Direct
It
quote from the
was.
movie.
I'm upset, but you're right.
right. It felt right.
Oh.
But yeah, that's why. I mean, she just has an awesome arc, I think, through the whole
Yeah.
Yeah, because
series.
she's constantly like torn down, even more in this movie,
Yeah.
because she's on the battle. She's at the battle camps,
Mhm.
and like the men are kind of like, and even her father is like, no, this is not your business.
And her
Well, her
brother is
brother-
like, it's a place for men.
Yeah,
Yeah. And Dark
Peace.
Horse.
Yeah.
A Dark Horse selection is Aragorn still, which is like my
Yeah.
sort of like
I do want to give a shout out to the amount of dedication Sam has to Frodo
Oh.
Yeah.
in the face of it all. I love you all, but if you ever treated me the way Frodo did, I would not come back.
That's why you're the Frodo of
That's
our
fair.
group.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
fair.
perfect. I'm the Frodo. Great.
You're the piece
But
of
yeah,
shit.
like even after being told by your best friend that he doesn't trust you and that you're basically a piece of shit and that you need to go, still
that
coming-
realization
still
moment that
coming
he
back.
has, where
Yeah.
he's like,
This is some bullshit.
I'm
Like,
so stupid.
it's
Side
that
note,
whole-
I really like that Josh and Bonnie, every time near the end of the movie when Sam and Frodo were near each
Kiss.
other, they would both go, kiss, kiss, kiss him, kiss.
kiss him.
Kiss
Go
And
kiss.
he finally
Tongue.
did.
And then he did on the head.
Kind
It's
of.
the second date now. You can use tongue.
What's next? Is this like Kwame Qualms?
moi.
Kwame Qualms? Oh yeah.
He
yeah.
hasn't had
Motherfucker.
one
I
yet.
thought
Can
you were
I-
right.
Okay, thank you,
Sorry.
Frodo.
You're welcome. I think it's you that needs to go, Tom.
What
It's you.
would you want to say?
After you talk about your
'Cause he's
favorite,
next.
I would
He's
like to
next.
talk
That
about
makes sense.
something
Yeah,
real
okay.
quick
Okay.
about this one.
My favorite's probably gonna be a
Gandalf.
slice. It's actually a trifecta. It's 3 because I think they
I didn't know we could pick
do
3.
a lot.
I know.
It's tough because it's like
Fuck.
I
it's
picked
like
2,
Èowyn.
so.
It's like
picked
Faramir,
one.
Faramir.
Faramir.
and Sam.
Faramir
It's like
and Sam.
those 3 that
It's Èowyn, Faramir, and Sam.
those ones I feel like had the most like against them,
Mhm.
and then they had to just do nothing but prove
Yeah.
everything wrong, and that's
Yeah.
why I'm like, oh fuck. But I mean, if I had to pick one, it's Faramir, because I'm
Yeah,
like,
he's
damn,
solid. He'd be my second.
His arc is great.
his arc is great, and I mean, like you said, it was like he has done nothing but prove everyone wrong, but still his dad is like, you're not good enough. Your
Yeah.
brother's better.
I
You're
wish,
way
you were,
better
I
than
like-
wish you were dead.
In that moment where
my
can't-
son.
he's figured out that he can't win over his father.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
That he's at this point, that's not what he's trying to
I'm
do.
just gonna go die.
I'm gonna go. Well, no, I think it's like I'm gonna go fight for my country.
Yeah.
I'm
Like,
not fighting
and
for
he-
you
and he's
anymore.
Still loyal to
Gondor.
Gondor, and he's still a better like you were saying, like the better brother or whatever.
Yeah.
Because he's always like the one that meets these like whatevers,
He passes the tests that Boromir
passes
didn't.
the tests. Yeah.
But also shout out to Theoden.
Yeah.
Just because it's like, yeah, we'll have peace
Yeah.
when you hang from
Oh,
blah,
the
blah,
shit
blah.
he said to
When you
Saruman?
die.
Oh my
Theoden was
God.
like a
Answer for your
baller.
crimes about the dead children and shit like that. I was like,
Minus him
"Woo."
being petty as fuck, he was pretty
Yeah, he
gangster
was-
as shit.
He
like,
is.
and that's why I'm like,
His speech is great. Like,
when Corey and I did our fucking ENTJ fucking personality things,
yeah.
and it showed that I was him, I was like, fuck, he better be cool.
yeah,
better
it
be
He's
worked
still
out. It
like-
worked out. It worked out.
He's still like a kind king because he's like, all right, worm tongue, come down
But then
here.
also, he's like,
Oh, by the way, those who don't know what you're talking about, Tom's talking about Myers-Briggs personality
Yeah.
tests and matching them to characters in movies.
Oh yeah.
and also, despite what fucking Carl Urban says, he's like, bitch, you gonna be the ruler of Rohan.
Yeah,
And then it's like, fuck yeah.
Mhm.
and then guess who's the king?
Bayamir.
Yeah,
Baemir.
Bayamir.
Beowulf.
Because you
I
just
don't
saw
think
his
it's like-
Beowulf and Baemir.
Yeah,
Is it called king when they are married into it?
Yeah.
technically.
Yeah, technically.
Because it's like a princess looking for her king, and then the king just takes
I thought it was like called Duke or something.
Because I mean, like,
Maybe.
Nah, he is going to take
Who
over.
knows?
Faramir?
Yeah.
Ah, dude.
Nah, dude. Nah.
Have you seen
dude.
Aladdin? Jasmine just looking for some fucking
Theoden's
dude.
like, hey, you're gonna rule in my stead.
Yeah, technically, Aladdin becomes Sultan.
You dare take
that freaks him out
the
at one
crown,
point.
the throne away from my
hey, bro,
dearest
it's not my
Èowyn.
fault. It's not my
not
fault.
There's
Mon-
gonna be
it's
a
not his
fist
fault that
fight
monarchies
in
are
the
sexist
studio
and
right
shit.
now.
Yeah. That,
Wow.
Man,
Marry your
Theoden-
cousin.
Theoden
So-
was there to change some shit.
But like I said,
It's just my impression of monarchies.
Èowyn has more
Oh,
wins
yeah,
than
that's fair.
Faramir has, and so I mean,
That
like
is-
she
that
should
is
be
true.
like
It's back in that
king,
time,
queen of the army,
Not now.
and he just do all the political shit.
all right.
I'd hope not.
That's my opinion.
Kwame Qualms,
Can I
Yeah.
bring up
General.
something before we do that?
for sure.
Because I feel like it was a lot more present in the third one. The sound of this film
The
was
sound design.
the
Very-
sound
Shout out-
design
Shout
was.
out to Josh's
Sound system.
Yeah.
Oh my
Mhm.
god.
If you get the chance to watch this movie
At
in-
Josh's house.
at my house,
Come over to Josh.
Listen to the
5.1.
Witch King.
anything. I mean, there are moments
And the rest
like,
of the movie.
but the Witch King, there was a lot of mixing done where they mixed it partly in
Ghosts.
the rear speakers.
Yeah.
And so it would start like
the ghost would
and-
speak.
Start center.
and then it would end
And-
in the rear, and like it would happen sometimes when explosions would happen. It would
Mhm.
kind of suck towards or suck out, and it was there. When a sound designer uses silence, it's amazing.
Mhm.
There
Like
was
they
a
did it
part-
twice in this.
There was a part where birds were chirping, and I thought a bird got in your house. I like whipped around. And I was like, "What the? Oh, it's his goddamn surround sound."
But I really liked very much in the beginning where it shows the ring where it's going, and it has the Shire music, and then it goes into the Fellowship music, and it goes into how
Yeah.
Legolas and all them were like at Rohan. I was like, that's dope. Like
They
it was
use
a
music
really
correctly.
it was really good movement from one
Yeah.
one theme to another theme. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
I've always loved. I can't remember if we've talked about this. Maybe we just talked about it off air. But the Wilhelm scream.
Oh yeah.
For those of you who don't know, you've heard it, you know it. It's that
Google
like
it. Yeah.
kind of thing that's in a lot
That
of
was
movies.
So much,
Let's go one
it was
more
so
time.
close.
And it was something filmed in like the 1940s, and they used the same. I have it in my sound
Yep.
my sound library.
My sound
line-
brother.
But the sound designer or sound editor was telling Percy Jackson about it and the history of it, and Percy fell in love.
Peter?
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 Percy
Peter? I was
Jackson.
like,
And the lightning thief.
My brain right
That's what
now.
I was
The lightning
thinking.
thief loved it, and so he uses it every time he throws a fucking thunderbolt,
My brain
Wilhelm
right
scream.
even though
Peter.
he's Poseidon's son.
Peter Jackson fell in love with it, and anytime that it came up in the mix, he'd say, "Bring it up."
Do you
And
have
what's
a brief summary of what that's from? Because it just was used in a movie.
I don't
a long
remember
time
which
ago,
film
or?
it was, but
It's
It
literally
was like
used
a-
in a lot of. It's,
a lot.
if
If
you
you
watch-
go on a list, if you go and you search Wilhelm scream list of movies,
Go to YouTube and then just watch a montage.
I think the biggest like
Oh.
It's
violator
been
of
used
using
in
it is Star Wars.
390 movies and
Oh.
countless television series. Starting in 1951, it is named after Private Wilhelm from a movie called The Charge at Feather River in 1953, 2 years after its first premiere, because he gets shot in the leg with an arrow and makes that scream. That was the first time it was used in a movie.
Yeah.
1953.
And
Private
they've just-
Wilhelm. So now it's called the Wilhelm scream.
So now we have the Josh Helm scream.
Yeah.
Ah, please use that in your movies.
Yeah.
Can we just get a clean one for anyone who wants to take it?
yeah,
Yeah.
go for it.
There you go, guys.
That is.
You can use
I
that
don't
in
know
one-
how you're getting hurt, but it doesn't
Honestly,
sound great.
It sounds like a ship in Star Wars passing by.
Yeah, it does.
Sounds
It
like a
totally
cold
does.
hot
Oh,
dog.
that's awesome. So qualms?
Qualms.
Qualms.
DJ
Qualmy
Qualms.
qualms.
Gripey Gripes.
No.
Yeah.
You have Professor Gripes over to my right.
Professor Gripes.
He has a better pedigree than I do.
I
We need
guess if
shirts
I-
that say Team Gripes and
Yes.
Team
It'll come.
Qualms.
It'll
Yes.
come eventually. If I had to nitpick,
Which you don't.
which I don't have
Which you
to,
don't.
but I
You
will,
really
just for
don't.
the sake of interesting conversation. I didn't love. Like, I guess it depends on the description
love
of what it was
Èowyn?
supposed to be, but it was what?
Just kidding.
Trigger
I just wanted
warning.
to see if that stopped you, and it did. Go ahead.
It did.
I said you didn't love
Dead
Èowyn.
halt.
His brain went,
Don't even
how
dare!
dare you?
How dare you?
You didn't love.
I didn't love how easily the ghosts just like washed over the armies, and like that was like they were going like a million miles per hour. But I guess that was like what it was
kind of
meant
like
to
their power.
What it was meant to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Their summon.
So you
Yeah.
don't like that aspect that they were able to overrun them? That there wasn't really a fight?
It was so
Right. I
overpowered.
guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
But,
like, well, let's
no
just,
one's
like,
sword or
finish this
anything
quickly.
can stop them except that
Yeah.
one. So like, what would slow them
Yeah.
down?
But that's not even a gripe, really. It was
I
just
mean,
kind of like, oh, okay.
I thought that was
That's what we're getting.
awesome.
My
Yeah. But I was like, I don't know what I was expecting.
So
Like
your one thing might be ghost physics.
ghost physics.
Ghost
no, not ghost
Or-
physics. That ghosts are too OP. You
Ghosts,
got it.
no, ghosts are too OP without you really seeing the OPness.
just see them run them over.
It
You don't
looked
see
like
them
they
actually
were
like
just
hit them.
washed over. Yeah, you don't
Got
see them
it.
like fighting
Like
necessarily.
the horses, you could see them actually run over people.
Yeah,
but then it's
even
just like,
even when they were taking over the Corsairs, like it was kind of like I think it cut away as soon as like anything was going to happen.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of CGI.
so
So,
I wanted
that's
to-
a lot of money.
It is,
Ollie.
yeah.
Yeah.
They had like what if they had like 1,500 or no? I think they had 3,500 special
Effects
effects shots.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whoa.
Compared to the typical 200 or something.
Yeah,
Am I
right.
No, it's like
Oh my
100 and
God.
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
which kind of leads a little into mine. Gollum, I think looks great,
Mm-hmm.
but there are some CGI portions where I was like, I get it. This is like it's of its time.
20
and it's
years
not
almost.
there. Exactly. So I'm like, and so I mean, it
Have
threw me. It
examples?
threw me off a little bit. Like the part that actually Josh likes a lot, where fucking the king
Denethor.
dad, whatever, falls off, and then you see like the whole spanning. I'm like, wow, that's really stitched together. Like to me, I'm like, man, that CGI is like it's there, but I'm like, that's the fucking best they had, and I'm not gonna put it against
To that
it.
point,
But like it was glaring for me.
I'll give you an interesting addition to that, and I've heard this a lot when I watch like documentaries or behind the scenes or whatever, and it's always whenever a filmmaker or a producer or something says, we now have CGI, so we can show you a shot that we could never show you before.
Mhm.
And it's like, I'm actually not a fan of that. I would prefer CGI to look like
It's not
it's something that you had to have shot from a believable angle. So it's like that zoom out,
Mhm.
you were on a jet plane going 50 miles per hour away from Minas Tirith to capture that. Like,
Yeah.
how else would you be able to just whiz by the entire,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Like if
I
it had
kinda
been a
don't.
more,
I'm sorry.
he's
No, like,
saying, he's
how it
saying if it had been
starts-
if it had been a more believable camera movement,
Mhm.
it may
Yeah.
not have stood out as bad.
Mm.
But the only way to get that shot, it was literally the camera would have had been going like 100 miles an hour.
Oh, gotcha.
To just
On an airplane.
fly
Yeah.
away
And
from
somehow
Minas
focused.
Tirith.
at
And
the
so I
same
mean, like
time.
that kind of stuff got me where it's like, and this again, it's like
But
I
it's
feel
there to show scale, right?
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
right.
And
Yeah.
those are actually the parts that like threw me off the most were the scaling shots.
Yeah.
Were like not like seeing the beauty of everything, like your favorite part, Ollie, with like Gandalf, like that was great.
Yeah, the camera
like,
movement. Yeah.
but like anytime with the Timothy Oliphants came over, and I'm like, it was so huge. And I'm like,
Timothy
I
Olyphants.
get it. And it's like it's CG, it's gonna happen. That's fine. But like those were the only parts that like really threw me out. But I mean, you know, you heard me while I was watching it. I was like, there's some still parts like you see the director, Percy Jackson, lighting
Percy
piece,
Jackson.
like
Thank you.
doing his fucking zoom ins and doing these like fucking Dutch angles. I'm like, this is dope. I still like with
Oh, like that part where they enter the dead,
The dead part.
mines,
the mines,
and they're
fucking
spinning around.
yeah, and then
stuff like
fucking do even vape bro like sequences. like,
that. Oh yeah.
like fucking just Gimli like vaping his ass out. But like those were like great sequences, and those CGI moments were fucking amazing. But then it's the huge scaling shots where like these are the reasons why like CGI doesn't work in big locations, stuff like that, and why
Mhm.
Avatar gets so many hand jobs or some shit.
Yeah, well, there's a whole great video essay, I forget by who, where they're like, it's not the CGI that's bad, it's how they used it, right?
Exactly.
And it's exactly that. Like a lot of CGI, especially nowadays, doesn't pay attention to physics. My biggest thing that I used to point that out, I was like, think about Terminator Genesis. He falls out of a truck and bounces on the freeway,
Oh, yeah.
but then stops a car because he's 6,000 pounds.
Yeah.
It's
He would
not
just-
believable.
yeah.
Right.
That's why that CGI sticks out. He should have just hit the ground
Mhm.
And
stopped.
scraped.
Yeah. Like that would have been way more believable.
Well-
It's not that it looks bad. It's that your
It's-
mind is going, this doesn't add up.
You haven't established the rules and you're not following them.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
like-
So like that shot with Minas Tirith where it is traveling 100 miles an hour, like there's no way to get
Right.
that shot.
What would have
really.
caught that footage?
Well,
Yeah.
to me, like
It
so.
would have been better if they followed him off and down,
Yeah.
Well, a different way
From his back.
Mhm.
Nolan style.
Like it kind of reminded me a little bit of your gripe with Ready Player One and how when you see a shit ton of the people just come over the hill,
Yeah.
you're just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to
too
be looking
much.
at. But also the fix that part where he's fallen off. Not saying it's wrong, but a different way that I might have liked it is like if he fell and then they do like a Wes Anderson telephoto zoom out, and then you just see that fall down.
Right. Because it's like, okay, the camera switched
Yeah.
zoom or whatever.
Or like if they do like a scale and all that stuff, it's like they start from the ground up and then they work their way up instead of
Mhm.
like a sweep. But like again, I'm not gonna knock it down for what it is.
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
it's fucking
Right.
2003
yeah.
graphics that didn't look
Insane.
like fucking Beast Wars.
Yeah.
So I'm
And,
like,
but,
you know.
and to its credit, was
Comparison to other
epic.
movies in 2003, it looks
Or
great.
compared to movies that are made in 2018.
Yeah, it looks great.
Then I'm like, come on.
yeah.
But I
But
mean,
to that, just to wrap that point up, like, and I think why Two Towers is still my favorite of the three, I thought that the Battle of Helm's Deep was much more intense.
Mhm.
Like I felt it was a lot more visceral of a fight for me.
I have a question.
And it's smaller scale and there's no CGI or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I have a question. So Smeagol's voice has always been like that?
Yeah.
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 Oh, that's crazy.
I would have liked it to be less that,
And then more
like
Anderson-
slightly
Andy
less
Ser-
intense, and then get there.
Yeah. But I was like,
Um,
oh shit, your
but okay.
voice is just like
It's
that.
fine.
Okay.
it's cool.
That was kind of weird, but that's it. Core pal.
My only qualm is that I don't have any. I don't think I've had any for any of these films.
No,
It's just
hard to
one of
come up
those
with them.
things that like stuff like that doesn't bother me. Again, like you mentioned before, it's a 17. I guess this one isn't 17.
We're
years
watching
old, but
this. Yeah.
essentially 15-year-old movie. I honestly don't have any. That's the reason I only watch the extended editions now.
And these are still shot on film.
Yeah, these were all
So,
shot on.
I mean, like everything
like
still looks
miles
gorgeous.
of film for
Yeah.
these. But
Intestines.
yeah, and the nice thing
Check
about
the gate.
that, I mean, of course, the beauty of that is that in 50 years or whatever, they can make it higher resolution if they need and stuff like
Yeah,
that, and
it's
preserve
nice.
it because digital stuff can't get better.
You hear that, filmmakers?
Stick with film.
Yeah, there's gonna be a ton of. I mean, that's why you watch TV shows that were shot digitally, and it's like the
Garbage.
aspect ratio. is
Shoot
fucked.
IMAX.
But I honestly don't like. For me, like I said, these are the closest I can find to perfect films. The score is there. They use it properly. They use it well. The CGI 99% of the time is used really well and in dimly lit shots, and only used when needed. And
Well,
the
A
camera
lot of
trick-
miniature work.
the camera tricks they use in these, and the body doubles and shit.
Ridiculous.
It's like there are scenes between Gandalf and Pip where he has his hand on his shoulder and it's cutting back and forth, and you don't notice even once that it's body doubles every time it cuts.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
One other thing, and honestly, like it's not even a gripe because I don't know what else they could have done. One thing that stuck out to me throughout the entire series, just because you reminded me of it, is the body double thing for the hobbits,
Yeah.
where sometimes it's CG, like inserts, sometimes it's scaling, like forced perspective.
Yeah.
Sometimes they use
Body doubles. Little
short people, yeah, like little people, and it's like that. The proportions are wrong for that, and they stick out to me a little bit.
There was something that was noticeable when they were waiting at the door, and then Gandalf is sitting with Pippin in front of him. There's a shot where like he's not in focus or in frame, but you could definitely tell it's not the actor.
But that's
I'm not-
2003.
Yeah.
Like-
Well,
Yeah.
to me the CGI
They
now
still did
is
some
different.
amazing things with
It was
forced
amazing.
perspective. Like I forget where I was. Maybe I think I was on like a Warner Brothers tour or something like that, and they had a piece of like set to show you how it worked, and they had a camera set up, and
Was
then
it
they
the
had
table
the table
from the first film when
That was
Frodo
amazing.
pours the tea in Gandalf's cup, and he's actually like
hella far.
feet closer to the camera than
Mhm,
Frodo
mhm.
is. And this table actually, as the camera moved, it's attached. So when the camera would move, the table would shift perspective,
Yeah.
so that it always looked like Frodo or Elijah Wood was much smaller.
Mhm.
And they're looking technically past each other.
Yeah.
But their eye lines are correct, so it looks like they're looking at each other,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
they're really like 6 feet apart.
Oh my
Camera
god.
trickery.
There's
Yeah,
there's someone
it's-
that's putting up a flag on a C-stand with an X. It's like for an eye line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the kind of stuff I missed in The Hobbit. And I think it's why it didn't hit home. Is like, again, that's that CGI shit where they're like, Peter Jackson
They
in The
did.
Hobbit, I love you, man, but you just didn't give a shit no more.
I remember what they did with The Hobbit, and that I think Ian McKellen had a struggle with
He had a breakdown.
He had a breakdown.
because he's filmed all of his sets
because
on a
they did
green
it
screen,
separate. Yeah.
and he was like,
Oh.
"This isn't why I got into acting, to act with a fucking tennis ball. Like, I want to interact with people, and I've been here for weeks by myself. Like, I get it,
Oh.
I understand, and it's like such a different experience than he had on Lord of the Rings, right? So
Yeah.
he signed up for that again, and what he got was a bunch of. I mean, I'll be honest. I think the Hobbits look like shit.
They do.
I would say like this.
It's
Like
overexposed. It's oversaturated, and the CGI stands. Everyone's in front of a green screen. all
CGI
the
should be a
time.
way to kind of create more for craft, not be there for convenience.
Yeah.
And so it shouldn't be there to be bandaged up or like, oh, we could just shoot everything in a CG environment. It's like,
I mean, because like Lord of the Rings was such a huge milestone for cinema, because like the miniature work is just out of this world. But also, what's the opposite of a miniature?
Body double.
well,
You just
scale.
said Body double.
A scale
Talking
double?
about who stands in for Gandalf, the like 8-foot guy.
No, like that, or like
the
sometimes when they had to
trolls
shoot
or
the
like-
ring.
Oh.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I think the scene where Boromir picks up the ring and it's in front of the
Oh,
camera.
and it's a giant.
It's like a giant ring because that's the only way they could like focus the shot right or whatever it
Yeah.
was. So like that kind of work was always like really fascinating to me.
It's creative.
It's creative
And
solutions
It shows
to your
that
limitations.
it's a director who wants to kind of push imagination and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I always compared this time in film, like this is when Harry Potter came out as well,
Yeah.
and they did a beautiful mix of practical effects and CGI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and I relate it to a time, and the reason I like 80s sci-fi so much is because everything had to be practical.
Mhm.
It's the reason I
It was
love
like 8-bit video games.
Yeah, I
why
love
their soundtracks are so much better
like
than
the
everything
Thing
else.
and Blade Runner and everything like that. Like everything had to be practical, and the use of any kind of computer CG stuff was so minimal because it all looked like shit.
Yeah.
That they had to rely on creativity. Like the big building in Blade Runner used like 8 miles of LED light for a miniature
Whoa.
to
Mhm.
build it. Like I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing to have as a crutch.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. And I think this time between 2001 to like 2005 was a time when CGI was kind of at its next step and
Yeah.
looked beautiful, but not well enough to rely a whole movie on. So they had to use
Yeah.
creativity and practice. I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, it's
like
a
Dark
really
Knight
wonderful
was
time to
another
film.
good example of using like a good mix of real and CG.
Me?
Dark Knight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like there was.
I thought he asked me to give an example. I was like,
Oh,
"Me
no.
give you an
I
example?"
thought you were
well,
saying
there was
I'm
one
the Dark
where
Knight.
Oh, no.
they showed the
No, I'm not
Joker.
wearing hockey pads.
The Joker. Spoiler alert: the Joker gets the helicopter, like crashes the helicopter down.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think the helicopter in the air is CG, and then when it hits the ground, it's a real helicopter that they blew up or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I mean-
also, it's followed by my least favorite line in the whole trilogy. That's not good. Okay, that's
It's
not
not
good.
good.
Like you just said that. It's like
But I mean, there's a big point of like how the director was very. This is not the Dark Knight episode, but like it's very how he was very intent of like using practical, and a lot of people will give him shit for it, like how the truck comes up. You could see the exhaust panel that like pushes it
Pushes
in
it
the air
up. Yeah.
versus
like,
using CGI.
I'd rather see that.
Which like to me that doesn't affect me. Like
There's a gravity to it.
having you try to do something practical will not make me more angry than you not hitting the exact mark with CGI. You know
Hmm.
Yeah.
what I mean? Like there's something different.
There's some examples nowadays. I know you were knocking 2018, but there's some modern examples that I think do really well with CG.
Yeah.
Force Awakens stands out for me a lot. But this is not that episode.
Yeah.
CGI or us episode, guys.
Yeah.
Anyway,
CGI.
I didn't have any qualms. So
No qualms.
Nice, good.
So Caitlin,
I didn't really have any qualms either.
when the Nazgul died.
The Witch King.
Which
no,
king?
that was cool as
The one
fuck.
in the movie.
That
The
was
Sandwich
great.
King.
Him like compacting in on himself like a black hole
Like a
was
dying
cool.
sun.
amazing. Yeah, because it was great.
I also like the
didn't-
small
I didn't hate
effect
that.
of them getting hurt when they stab him. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I guess she doesn't.
What's up with
really-
that?
Well, she does actually kind of go, ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Like
not as
something
much
happens.
as-
It hurts her,
but not as bad
well,
as Mary.
Mary gets really hurt. He just
Yeah.
stabs in the back, and it's just like, oh god,
What's up with that?
no man.
You like
You literally
Hurting-
can't hurt him.
you literally can't hurt him.
Well, if you
like
do,
it
you
hurts
F yourself
you,
up.
and they're not gonna get hurt. Like Mary stabbing the Witch King is like,
He's not a
haha,
man
that's
either.
cute. Now you're gonna die. But like
That's a
the
Pokemon nature
blade
right there.
also like disintegrated, right?
Pippin's did, but hers was like sizzling. and
Right,
she,
but
like,
the same thing happened with Aragorn too, and
Mhm.
I could just be misremembering information. But like,
well, when he gets stabbed by the blah 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 sword,
Morgul
he
blade.
Morgul blade.
grabs it, and,
And
he's
and
like,
then the
blah, blah,
Morgul
blah.
blade disintegrates. But like anything that
He
has
doesn't-
anything
the
to
thing
do
is,
with
he doesn't stab them at Weathertop. He
Right.
lights them
Right.
on fire and then throws that one in its face.
that's
But
true.
that doesn't
and then they leave.
kill them. They're just like, fuck.
Yeah,
They only take swords to the face. Their only weakness.
Yeah.
swords
You
to the
found
face.
my only weakness, a sword to the face.
Yeah, that would be pretty bad for anyone.
If it was Legend
yeah,
of Zelda, his face would be glowing like gold.
It'd be an eyeball.
I can't say that I really have a qualm just because of like the impact it made.
Makes
Like
sense.
it's silly for me to pick it apart because I enjoyed it so much that I don't care to.
Yeah.
So
It's a work of art with all its flaws and
Mhm.
yeah,
triumphs.
I
and-
mean, it's very hard to be perfect, and that movie did a really great job with everything that it had: sound, music, visuals, acting.
There's a reason I got 11 Academy Awards.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
reason.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's
again,
real
like,
good.
like we've talked about on this show, it's like there are some things where it's like you can still have qualms, but like sometimes the piece of art is still greater than the sum of its parts.
Yeah.
So.
And this is definitely one of those. So,
Joshy Josh?
Josh?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, again, I mean, it's tiny things. It's suspension of disbelief moments like when Èowyn's on the horse and she tells Mary to take the reins, and she takes these two
And he
swords
fucking just
and he's
swerves.
swerving through.
Yeah.
But the thing for me that is, I can believe that. I can, in a way. But when she takes these two swords and she swipes kind of the Achilles, the legs
Yeah.
of these giant fucking thing, I go,
Her
That
arms
skin-
are not 12 feet long though.
but also that skin has got to be incredibly thick.
Yeah.
But this is like tiny
Well,
stuff that it doesn't ruin the movie for me. I'm like,
And I will say, her sword for some reason is like a hot knife, and everything's skin is just melted butter.
Maybe it is.
Everything's just
Maybe it
melted
is.
butter.
she went to the smithy right before.
My
She did.
thing with that is not like such a bad thing, but it's kind of like take the reins. It's kind of like take the wheel. And it's like, bitch, this is not the time for that kind of shit. It's like he doesn't know how to ride a fucking horse. I'm like, all right, whatever.
the only
It's
other
cool.
thing, and this is like laughable, is Aragorn's hair
What?
at the
combed?
end.
Combed.
Like,
Oh,
no,
it
no,
was
no, no.
brushed?
So after they win,
Mhm.
there's like this moment where it's Aragorn and he's healing everybody.
Uh-huh.
And there's a part of me that makes me think that there was a huge time jump or something, but his hair was all of a sudden like really long. And like it wasn't his like tattered short to the shoulders. It was all of a sudden like long. And it almost looked like extensions. Just really bad extensions.
Could have been a continuity thing.
Maybe. I don't know. But there was just a moment where I was like, it's on the time when they're marching to go to the Black Gate. And it's just that one time, because when he's being crowned, it looks completely normal. And
maybe he washed it and all the rat's nests that were in there finally let
That's
loose.
what it was.
That's right.
Outside his
Yeah.
trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, I did.
Tom, go ahead. I was going to tell you, I think I remember why she could kill the Witch King.
Oh.
And it's not technically her.
Sword of the Face.
In the movie, it is.
Oh.
In the movie, it is a very much message of like
women.
Yeah,
Can do more things.
Women are
empowerment
strong
thing.
too.
I believe in the book, the dagger that Mary has was made in this place called Westerness, which is like
Westeros. Okay.
it's Westerness, which is technically like the Atlantis of Middle Earth, and it was the greatest city of men before they abandoned the Valar, which are like gods, and basically like sunk it. And the blade he drives in was made there, and it breaks the magic that is put on the Witch King that basically anchors him to our world, that keeps him in that dead and alive. So it breaks this spell,
Makes him mortal.
makes him essentially mortal, and
Then she can kill him.
while he's distracted, she
Man,
does it.
I love that kind of shit. Like
Yeah.
you knowing that kind of lore.
That's cool
Like
as fuck.
It's something like that. I was looking up the city, and it's Westerness, also known as Numerian, which is like, what's his name from?
Namor.
yeah.
Namorian.
Yeah,
Probably.
but it's
Submariner.
NU, it's NU instead with a little.
Namurian.
But
Numerian.
again, if
Got
anyone's listening and they know the actual story, message it to it. But I think that's it.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's like a fucking Naruto.
There's
It's
so
like
much
there's in
lore.
the book. There's a lot
So
more
much-
explanation of magic and how it works, and it's very grounded. Magic in this world is like very grounded magic, and like blades are enchanted when they're forged and stuff like that. So anyway,
I did have one thing. It's more of a comment. It's speaking of like the Aragorn and Arwen thing, and kind of like I get how they did it or why they did it, but it was kind of like it was interesting. It was just a very interesting kind of like dialogue between like Aragorn like pushing away Èowyn, trying to be king, and then also still having like visions of Arwen, and then Arwen like, yo, this is my decision, blah blah blah, and then we don't see any more Arwen until the very end. But then it's like Elrond's like, yo, bro, you got to be king, da da da. I made the sword, but I'm not gonna tell you that Arwen told him to do that. But then like Aragorn's like, cool, I got to do this shit. And it's kind of like he has to be focused, and it's more about his development. Normally, I think I would not be okay, but the fact that they built that seed from Fellowship,
yeah,
and then they kind of continued what Arwen's journey was in Two Towers.
Yeah.
It was kind of like not quick, fast, in a hurry, but more just like loose.
Mhm.
It was like a loose through line for that relationship.
yeah. Well, then you see it in the seeing eye that she's dying.
Yeah, and it plays against him, which
Yeah.
I love. That was really cool. I was like, ooh, that's as Josh says, dirty pool, but I call that
dirty.
but I call that being fucking smart.
Mhm.
But I guess it kind of goes back to like how you wish you see a little bit more of the Èowyn coolness from Two Towers to show a little bit more like, oh fuck, he's definitely going after this girl. But then it's just like very easy, like, nah, Arwen's in Becca's head. He fine. He fine.
Yeah, they
So
wouldn't work out anyway.
Yeah.
And
But
it's like-
the cool thing, I guess, with that is like what some films like Heat, where like they show the villain and the protagonist like never seeing each other only but twice in the film.
Mhm.
Like Arwen and Aragorn see each other but like once until the very end. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. They still have a relationship with each other.
oh, and that
and it
vision she
pays off.
has is great with
With
her kid.
With a
yeah.
child who's just giving him the guilt,
The
like you will
guilt
not
is
birth
so
me if you leave.
strong.
Yeah,
It's
Mama,
fine.
mama.
You can go, but I just
Um,
like won't exist.
and like Eldron trying to be like, I'm trying to protect you, but I can't stop
There's
you.
I see death, bitch. There's also life.
Yeah, I loved that line. But there is also life. I was like, ooh, she knows. She knows. You can't hide it from
You're
her
in trouble,
anymore.
Dad.
Yeah. I think did Josh no?
No.
Cool. So not
No.
much with this film, guys.
Yeah.
Not a
Little
lot of
things that are like, okay,
nitpicky,
whatever.
Tiny
nitpicky
little-
shit is
yeah.
all we got today.
Like, is
Are we
now-
biased? Sure. It won 11 Oscars. You tell us.
You're in a pile of gold, and you're like, man, this one coin is like a little scratched.
Yeah.
It's the Two-Face coin. It's like,
Well, then you just keep that one. And
Yeah.
become Two-Face.
Rating?
So I have the most votes on me, so I have to go last.
You do have to go last.
Yeah.
So I'll rate it 5 stars.
5 stars.
5.
Let's hear it.
Tell me your rating, Tom. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna say 5.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
There's no grumps.
There's no
There's
grumps.
no
Sweep
grump.
the nerd on
So
Oscars.
my thing
Yeah,
with this,
seriously. You did it again, Return of the King.
my thing with this one, like compared to the other ones, why didn't I give the other ones 5 stars? Like this one, I felt like again there was much more like, here's the stake, here it get resolved, and here how it paid off.
Is it because the other ones didn't have endings and this bitch has 6?
had more endings for all the movies.
You couldn't spare a couple of those
There's
endings.
developmental arcs in every movie, but like specifically, like there was a lot of good call to action moments and very good like, oh, this it's gonna happen right now. Even though my favorite character of all, the first 2 movies had to play like backseat, even though Gimli played backseat in this film, like this one I felt like,
But like his
There's-
moments were great, right? Like
He
they
still
have
had good
that
moments.
moment that like, what about side by side with a friend? And you're just like, oh,
Mhm.
he said it
They're
first.
best friends.
Like,
So-
I can do that.
Did we just become best friends?
Yep.
so gush moments.
I feel like we spent this
The whole movie.
The whole episode
like,
was-
here-
whole thing
was a
here's the thing.
Staff exploding, fucking like implosion power sword.
Yeah, these
Every
films
oh
are
shit
huge
movement.
for me. These again were a huge leap in my tree of nerddom. Like,
Yep.
they are the reason I love fantasy things. They're the
Mhm.
reason I love.
Was this the one you lost your virginity to?
This is the one I lost my virginity.
Like kind of like you were still liking nerdy shit, like you were dating, blah blah, going steady, holding hands.
but
first
this
base.
is like when I went all the way with nerd.
Yeah.
This is it. This
Third
is the
base.
films that like
you went
fair.
up that night, you didn't come back.
These
the same.
it sounds really cheesy
Return
to
to man.
say this, but like these films changed my life, and
same.
I have
Same.
no problem with that.
I also have a thing. So you said Percy Jackson, lightning thing.
I'm never gonna live
No,
that
that's
down.
never going away.
Like
Ever.
fresh hot pudding.
Even the audience. Don't you do it, Tom.
But anyways, he studied spiders that scared him to make that spider.
Well, no, he's just arachnophobic. So when he was designing it, he just made it with features that terrified him the most.
Because this is super nitpicky, but I was like, this is very tarantula looking.
It's like a
versus-
tarantula mixed with a black widow.
Like, because
Yeah.
black widows are known for like super small legs and fat ass, and then tarantulas are usually like big, thick legs. And I was
It
like,
had
this-
to be.
and it had the,
But it
the
also kind of had
size.
skin.
But also
like, if you
it-
saw
it-
its face,
and it has, like-
Yeah.
prehensile mouth things, which
Yeah.
tarantulas use, but tarantulas don't use webs.
well, it had a whole bunch. I mean, it had more than.
Had a
It
stinger.
had so much more than a spider does up in the facial
Yeah.
area. Like it was covering its eyes when it was cut with its.
Like,
Anyway.
I'll-
How many
Almost.
spiders have stingers?
Like it was an accursed
Damn it.
demon spider of its own.
Most,
Yeah,
most don't.
almost.
Their venoms
Most
are
don't.
their venoms are in their teeth.
From their mouth, yeah.
I think the only ones that have like a thing might be like the camel spiders,
Ugh.
but then their
Mhm.
teeth also
Huh.
look like.
So that's kind of like what he means, where it's
Camel
like,
spiders really wig me out real bad.
pretty sure tarantulas
Wolf
don't
spiders
have
are
spiders.
worse. Wolf
Period.
spiders are way worse.
I don't know if I agree. Camel
Wolf
spiders,
spiders, they at you.
that's
They
fine.
like talk at you like.
But they're not-
Oh
they're
my
not-
god.
they're not
but that's like a
mean.
warning.
They're just creepy.
Oh no.
Camel spiders aren't those the huge ones?
They're the ones like in the deserts that are like
Yeah,
long
yeah,
skeletal
yeah.
looking things.
Giant,
Yeah.
terrifying
they look
face
like
huggers.
face hug exactly.
Yeah.
Corey was
yeah.
telling us about how like the scattered web, the kind of tangled.
Josh
Josh did.
Josh was saying
Josh.
that. Yeah. How like if it's a kind of how do
It
you
kind of
describe
has
it?
no. If there's no
There's no, like,
method to the
pattern.
madness.
Yeah.
There's no. It's just scattered
If
web.
there's no intelligent
Yeah.
design.
Yeah.
Yes.
God.
Exactly.
Then it's a venomous.
Yeah, I read
Spider.
an article
poisonous.
once that you can tell a venomous spider by its web. Like
Yeah.
if it's one of those beautiful webs, it's probably not harmful.
Yeah.
But like if you look at like a black widow web, I mean it is just like it don't care.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
And then I
It's
was like, because
crazy
they're
boxes
just
all
they're
over.
just demon hell spawns.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
really
exactly.
what it comes
Yeah.
down to.
I
I
grab
don't
the
like
fire.
spiders.
So what's
hate-
our worst?
I scream
fear
like-
of spiders.
So there's no grump, by the way.
What's our scariest spider?
Camel spiders.
Not this episode or ever.
But
yeah,
Black
no-
Widows.
Black widows.
Yeah.
It's 'cause well,
I think the
because we
same.
have
They
to deal
creep
with
me
them.
out.
We
Yeah.
actually have to deal with
Yeah,
those
we
here.
do.
See,
So.
Brown recluse scare me more.
I actually almost
you
got
know
bit
what?
by
I'm on
a
that. I'm on that one because I'm like,
The
Freak me out.
necrosis scares me more.
But
Yeah.
the
Right,
Return
and
of the
that's
King
all
was
for
really
Spider
good.
On, as always.
So, okay. I feel like this whole episode has been gushing. Do we feel
I feel
complete?
I feel like
Gushing
pretty
like
complete.
Frodo's mouth when he
Yeah,
got stabbed by
here's
the
thing.
spider.
I'm gonna say it's complete because this is
Mm.
the third 2-hour episode that we've had people listen to, and we appreciate
Yeah.
if you stuck around to this point. Fucking well done.
Baller.
yes.
This is of
You've
us
watched
overall.
basically
occasion.
1.5 of the Lord of the Rings.
So
Yes.
overall of all of our this is episode 54. So we've had
Yes.
3 episodes in our life that have been
No, I'm just saying right now this
Oh.
marathon.
Oh,
but
that's
also tune in next year for our extended editions.
true. Oh my
That's why I
God.
said 3 2-hour in a row.
Okay, got it. Yeah. So 6 hours of Nerd On in one day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
Nerded the fuck on.
Enjoy.
Thank you for
Um,
listening and spending time with us. Even if we're not right in front of each other, it is, you're hanging out with us for many hours of your day. And that's really awesome.
Yeah.
And we appreciate it.
Thank you for the year.
If you ever want to share any thoughts you have on an episode, want to get in on the discussion, you can do a couple different things. You can email us. All of
Yeah.
our contact is over at nerdon.
Mhm.
.tv.
And or if you join our Patreon,
Patreon. You can get access
on
to
our
Discord.
talk to us directly.
Yep.
But we
Mhm.
would love to hear from you.
Or
Hit us up on the socials.
If you leave like
We've got
a
Facebook.
rating
What can they do?
on iTunes, if you leave a rating on Facebook, like we love reading that stuff, and we literally talk about it.
Yeah.
We do,
like,
yeah.
or as Tom says, slip and slide in the DMs.
Slip and slide, hard and wet. in
Yeah.
those
Well, I mean,
DMs.
one thing about
Or
questions is
just
that
dry.
dry
You
pudding.
can.
No, it's
It's
not
okay.
fun dry.
It's not. You're right.
Not for anybody.
That's true.
one of the benefits of being a patron is you have the option to ask questions at a certain level, and we do a whole bunch of bonus episodes during that, and those questions are featured in that, and
Yeah.
sometimes it directs the topic of that. A little bit of kind of gushing about Nerd On, or kind of
Because
business.
This is the end of our 1 year.
This is the
Anniversary.
One year
marathon episode.
anniversary.
we start Nerd 2
Electric Boogaloo.
Mhm.
year 2 of Nerd On next episode.
Yeah.
But we've got a few things to celebrate. We've got the giveaway going on.
Yep.
Mhm.
What are we giving away?
We are giving away some sweet Kraken dice.
With a
bone
leather
dice
bag?
With a
What-
sweet leather
What
bag.
kind of dice? How do they look like? How does it feel? How does it smell? Does
They
it
look
fit
like
somewhere?
boner dice.
What?
They're bone.
They're
made out
bone
of
dice.
bones. They're not made out of bones. They look like they are, though.
So
They
They're pretty
do.
sweet.
in a genuine leather case
Yeah.
bag to go in.
Mm-hmm.
That is
You can enter that. The
imprinted
easiest
with
way to
the
do it would be
Kraken
through,
insignia.
I
it's a
would-
Gleam giveaway.
It'll Gleam giveaway when it goes live. It'll be on Twitter. So
We have the link in our Instagram.
Mhm.
at Nerd On TV on Twitter.
Yeah.
Check it out. For all
This
the
releases
details.
at midnight. That'll most likely be going live at around 9 a.m.
We'll pin it.
today.
We'll pin it
Yeah.
for a while
Yeah.
during the duration of the contest.
Also, kind of some fun information that I don't believe that we've told our regular listeners, not just patrons, but we were nominated for a podcast award in
Yeah.
TV and
Oh
film.
yeah.
Yeah.
we're
That
very
we're gonna
excited.
Very
find
humbled.
out in the next couple of weeks after you listening to this whether we won
Either
or
way,
something. But that's pretty amazing within a year.
It's very exciting and humbling to be nominated, which is incredible.
Yeah.
I
I
want
never
to
thought
kind
that
of
would happen.
open up the curtain and reveal. It's like it could not have happened without you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Honestly,
whatever.
like
Yeah.
to
Everyone.
get nominated, you got to talk about your numbers and blah
Everyone.
blah. Like how many episodes you got, what's your website, how many people are listening, and
and
because
listeners vote too. I
Yeah.
mean, it's amazing that people voted.
And so because of you listening, because of you subscribing, because of you rating, all that stuff helps us get seen by other people. Bring all the joy and wonder and wet nerdiness.
Jeez.
Every
Everybody-
like,
Tom,
every retweet,
why?
every listen,
Juicy nerdiness.
patron or not, like anyone who is listening now or shares with a friend, or even if it's just sharing like a 3 to 5 second clip of something, like that's supporting us in its
Exactly.
own way.
And
So
and with the year, I do want to just like rehash of like different ways to support. If you go check our website, you can see all the ways to support, which are to tips, to Patreon, to checking out the different websites we're affiliated with.
Yeah.
So check out that stuff. If you are someone that buys anything, like all those websites, going through our link helps us out passively.
Even
know?
going to iTunes and clicking the old 5-star and reviewing it, like it's little like things that we appreciate that you guys do. So thank you.
and
Yeah.
we see every single one of them.
Yeah.
We get excited and talk about it.
So we're talking to you, those who have helped us out, and those who are future going to help us out. So it's
Thank you very much.
And here's to an amazing
First
year
year.
2.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
first
that
year.
too.
Yeah. I was gonna.
Year
I was gonna,
one, year
I was gonna be
two,
like,
next
on
year we
and
do The
on.
Hobbit.
Oh.
No, that's not even it
Jaws.
either.
Wow.
What do they
Wow,
got back
you
there?
That
just
was the
Smog.
most
Three different-
painful.
Use the Force, Harry.
Oh my
Said
God.
Kirk.
Stop, Tom. And as always,
Nerd on.
Nerd on.
God. Is that it? Were we done?
That was a rough ending, y'all.
Ending broadcast.